3, but Mystic there to stabilize.
Yeah, and Liquid still have control of the weapons here, Haza.
Yetajay with a headhunter though.
They're walking elsewhere.
Looks like they want to get proactive and play this one ahead of the curve. You can see the movement back through Art and FUT completely blindsided by this right now.
Yeah, but they have an option to pick up the weapons and go elsewhere if they want.
Heading directly into trouble though, and that is where Liquid Academy will strike. A nice movement in the mid-round from Mystic and the rest, setting them up for an anti-eco win.
Yeah, I mean, overall, just nice proactivity, as you said, and that's something that Team Liquid Academy will do time and time again. That Sage Wall won't always go down on A main. Awkward fights in towards the middle portion of the map. Something Team Liquid Academy can do, which is really nice, is that they always tend to find a way like, hey, listen, if we lose middle of the map, let's just leave it and not challenge it at all. 4 players for the defense outside on A main, and they're being aggressive.
And so Rextone's job in all of this is to just try and stall out B as much as possible. Vice hasn't seen as much play in recent times.
I like this.
And part of that, of course, is the Vines, and the amount of delay they're able to create has been hindered.
Vaha needs to be careful now as everyone collapses down, and look where the spike is, forced towards B. Let's look at Rex now, and he'll win out his duel.
Such a key 1 versus 1 for Rex to take. The alley has been conceded though.
Yeah, and well, Rex has conceded the site. Happy with what's happened here, and happy to take what he's got. So they come back in with 5.
How much utility is left here on Liquid though? Of course, with the Astra, you do get some extra abilities, some stars to try and play around, and it looks like there is almost a full belt on 1-0 as well.
Yeah, Liquid don't blink though at the first tap of the spike, so all 5 players ready to come back in with the utility that's in pocket.
And post-plant positions 4 FUT. They are embedded deep in the site.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to try and dice this up, and while the fake clone may try and help as they now start to clear the corners. No one player is an elbow, and the clone gives away the position as well. Fallen, Crystalli, how do they manage to combine, play in Zeus, and it ends up with FUT coming out on top? What can 1-0 do here with just an outlaw in hand? Not a whole lot. The post plant successful.
Hits the body shot but won't bag up Fallen there. It's FUT on the board, breaking the ice early after taking a back seat in this round. Baha getting overwhelmed. Youngster into the lineup, one of which we will continue on to talk about, hasn't really seen too much play, even in challengers, let alone making that break into tier 1 now. But Liquid set up well there. It's just FUT using that firepower.
I think, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with dropping out of heaven. I always feel as if you can find yourself caught on a timing with the drop. It seems as if for this round, 1-0 is very happy to be aggressive in his positioning up B long.
It's constantly what you've got to be doing with the Yoru, poking as much as possible on the extremities and using that teleport to get out of jail. But FUT haven't really pressured too heavily on B long after that initial trademark. They're now starting to funnel through the A corridor into R, and it's Zeus to draw first blood again.
Clean shots, procs off the board, but 1-0 still holds on for this space and is calling for people to support. 3 bodies strong are Liquid and GSR with a spray transfer next 2.
Gets the res up as well. Mystic does fall on the other side of the map in the same motion, but at the very least GSR has walled off the lane, and with that it's a much longer rotation for FUT.
Yeah, but one which they are already first to, right? That chamber on site, gaining deep space, but Yetajay needs to be careful about lane.
Even picking up the orb here as well, Mr. Fallen, as they start to empty the utility belts and get in sight. Brilliant horn, sets up Yetu for the first, and he'll fall back before looking for a second. Rotation coming in from Rex, but it's from the opposite side, and 1-0 has plenty of healthy targets in front of him. This Outlaw's going to struggle to do too much if Rex can't lift it for him. And with Yetu already onto a third, 1-0 just has to see how much damage he can possibly do in this 1 versus 3. Liquid taking their foot off the gas for just a moment, and FUT are immediately equal to it.
That's what FUT are good at, is we see 1-0 just get as much damage in as possible, has it. You make a mistake, they're going to punish you. There's so much experience in this core as 1-0. It's done a fair bunch of damage overall. Only one player able to escape, the Chamber of Yetu. But the big problem here for Team Liquid Academy is they're being taught a lesson, and that lesson is you can't slip up or there will be punishment.
That's the thing with this FUT rebuild as well. I would argue in some ways it's in a similar place to Na'Vi in that the backbone of the team has still remained the same, and with the coaching staff reinstated as well, changing out a few players of which they're still very much unknown and unproven. At least the early stages of this game would continue to back up that notion. But into this round, a huge opportunity to take the lead for themselves now.
Again, take that A main spot, but it's towards mid where the next engagements come. 1-0 already out in mid.
Evet, şu an sesim geliyor olması gerekiyor.
Still hot in the hands of 1-0.
Oh, and a timing as well. Yetije not fully wanting to walk into the Euro, and he's continuing to take space.
Timing.
There could be a chance to try and cut off the Sova as the Astra's been seen, but instead... Oh no! It's a disaster, but Mystic, clean shots, at least able to finally clean up the mess made in B main, and now forced into the A site.
Yeah, Mystic always a safe pair of hands, and Liquid have got bodies over here.
They do, but that ultimate is probably the key difference maker here, especially with the spam, making the numbers go in FUT's favour, and Zeus, like a hot knife through butter, deals with everything in his way. So Mystic, long rotation in, rifle in hand, how much damage can he necessarily do? Hopefully the same as last round.
We shall see. It's a little taller an order here for Mystic, but all the right ideas presented from Liquid Academy there in terms of creating pressure through the one rifle that they had, 1-0, given the freedom to explore. Someone who comes into this team off the back of a couple of years experience in challenges, but had to fight for his spot on a free agent roster in Northeast this year before really proving what it is that he could do. And now having been with the team since
zaten birim son oynuyor olması lazım Memphis'te. Bu maç alırsa JX demeye çıkıyor. Bakayım bir dakika. Evet, Giant X'le eşleşiyor.
Yeah, 1-0 on these scope weapons is really pushing the boundaries like B long right now, and that's allowing for
bu turnuva hakkında mail attım, izin verdiler bana.
Heavier on the A side.
GSR just disrespecting the wall, and that's the chamber ult gone immediately.
Kadrosuyla o kadar net bilgim yok da akademi olarak bu oyuncuları topladıklarını okumuştum. Bu akademi kadrosu bu galiba. Arada bakarız.
And with that, it's 2 for 2 in these opening duels on the Liquid side.
That's what they'll be happy with. That's what they'll be using as their foundation for the round to build upon. The fact that these walls are still in play is huge for the defense. Although you can already see Team Liquid Academy looking to give up mid and now play towards the sites.
And that's the right reaction in this situation. When you have numbers, play from a little further back, entrenched where it's difficult for FUT to cut that out. Still seeing there is some initiation behind this. Starling does pick one up and just flushes the dart onto the secret wall to make sure that there's nobody hanging around. They want to fight Rex here, and when they put him on a dime, it's GSR that trades out. That duo which have been ever consistent throughout the year, coming up with the goods again.
And I mean, you look at the Brimstone of Baha, he does have a molly and he does have the ulti.
The limelight is all his. Baha with the ult to fall back on. A molly in his pocket, but doesn't need it at the first swing. That's 1-0 down, and while damage has been taken on his dismissal, there was half a chance there for Baha. GSR does stamp it out eventually, and Liquid will equalize.
Yeah, the molly good. The idea of trying to play that post, I would have liked him to maybe just wait, right? Get that ulti on.
Çok erken düşeceğim molly. Üstüne ulti atsa bile bir 15 saniye varmış.
And we will equal out the round count at 3-3, and you can see FUT and what they're able to do in terms of bringing that round back on side.
Tekrar verirken bir kısa bakayım bakalım da.
so quick on the mark, and 1-0 being able to earmark that B long to allow FUT, to deny
Yok,
FUT the
bunlar bu
ability
turnuva için
to
kurmuşlar
pivot.
takımı büyük
Just
ihtimalle.
shows you how good this Euro is going to be as the rounds
Ya
go
da
by.
turnuva
How
sonrası
impactful
duyurabilirler
it's gonna be.
çünkü Kübert falan. Kübert'ten iyice Pasife gidecek. Bu kadroda kimse kalmamış.
In touch with Pearl and
Yeni
what
kadro
the
olabilir de
map
hiç
requires
bakmadım,
from a
bilmiyorum.
macro perspective. You take a
Mistiktir
step
büyük
back.
ihtimalle Acer.
And FUT, on the other hand, especially in stage 2, did show concerns, at least in terms of their theory or the application of it in the rounds from Mr. Fallen. 1-0 must be cleared out here and has support arriving.
Oh, but 1-0 may have just
Again.
escaped to drone, does so,
Nasıl yani?
and gets another entry. Crystalli, though, off the back of that, the old drone was heard, was seen.
So really nicely set up opener as well, as Mystic often is that solo anchor on B, either the Astra or the Vice player, the jump spot to bait for it. As you say,
Tam
there
base
is a gap
split
on B right
gösteriyorlar ama
now, which
bence
FUT
arttan
may be
A'ya
looking to
gidecekler
exploit.
smoke'ları. Baha daha da
Well, they
bekliyor.
really do, right? It seems right now they've not made their decisions. A bit indecisive, actually.
It's all on Crosstali to take this
Siz
timing, but
yakalarsa
he's looking
Vice'ı
for an
ama
overextension
Vice
instead,
gelmiyor.
and Mystic knows this.
Yeah, I
Bir
think
sızdı
the
aslında.
full of Team Liquid Academy know what they need to do, and you see with the timer and you see the positions, it's the exact same as last round. They don't want to keep that middle of the map. Know that FUT
Kaçacaktan
have to
arkana
try and
bak.
clear it, and that's what's taking their time.
Oh.
But 1-0 on the hip fire misses out. Allows the site to go to FUT, and that
Küper
spike down. The key
kesinleşmedi de
difference maker is those
sheet
ultimates.
paylaşınca doğruluyor
Liquid
genelde.
didn't gamble
%100 doğrudur.
either which way, so they left
%95
themselves
diyelim.
exposed on both sides of the map. You can see Zeus has already moved up in secret. He has a really dangerous position here.
Yeah, the timing could be key. The young gun who had a on and off
Herkes
year
birbirinin
of
sırtını dönüyor. Çok anlaki değil mi?
2025.
Yakalayacak ama
The
Zeus'u.
off-season looks to be an important
Bowling
one
buldu.
for him, but once again, Zeus now looks
Ölmedi
to
lan.
distract and perhaps get
Yapma.
another couple kills. As the
Yapma.
players of Liquid try to clear out the waylays. It's GSL's
Yaptı.
job, but one in which he fails, and everything now being thrown at this post plant is FUT know they want to win it. Just Mystic, the substitute IGL, will be substituted out of the round and FUT to win.
İlginç bir round. Turistleri B'den başladı yürümeye. Hava affetti map'i.
Performance from Zeus so far in this map. You touched on it there during the round, but I have to agree. In terms of
Bunun
Turkish
kadroyu
duelists
nasıl
coming
oldu
into the
sence?
league, it was both
Bence
him
çok
and
erken
Levin
bir
that
şeyleri
everyone had
söylemek
eyes
için.
on, but ultimately outshone in each of the derbies and the end result of stage 2, of course.
Yeah.
You just want to see a little bit more consistency from him, and I think that's what the rest of this FUT side can
Karşı takım neden
potentially
karma?
facilitate.
Karşı takımın yeni kadrosu bu
They've
olabilir.
typically been a
Tam
good team at enabling individuals.
diğer iki takımlara bakmadığım için bilmiyorum kadrolarını da, yeni kadroları bu olabilir yani. Şu an o kadroda kimse kalmamış. Belki yeni oluşacak kadro bu beşliden oluşuyordur. Pasifik kadrosunu almak mantıklı mıydı? Bro, bunlara ben cevap veremem de bu finansal olarak çok mantıklıydı. Profit'te Yampi'den direkt kar ettiler. Bu beşli zaten iki takım aynı anda ligde bulunamayacağı için bu beşli direkt takıma geçti mesela. Bu Team Liquid değil, bu Team Liquid Akademi net duruyor Liquid'de. Kadroları az önce açıklandı. 2 saat önce açıkladılar kadroyu da. Nets oranı sahibi, Nets bir yere gitmez. Aynı şey gibi Angel gibi. Angel de bir yere gidemedi, koç oldu mesela, yine Navi'de devam.
It didn't quite mesh, but now that the ults are in play, you were kind of hoping this would be the round for them, but with the pistols on the table,
Bebeğin turkuaz mı oldu?
expectation a little bit lower, but if you can find one here or there, maybe there's a chance. FUT probing A to start off, but Liquid will win this battle.
Tam oyunun Nets kaldı sadece, diğer üçlü değişti.
Oh, move on the other side of the map. That timing insane.
Gets Mystic out on an off angle early. Same can be said of Rextoned, but neither can make an account of themselves in the round. Liquid quick to respond to this with numbers on site. It's just classic, it's just pistols. Nothing to really dig your teeth into. And even with the blind landing, 1-0 is ineffective. A triple kill from Baha and a confidence booster for FUT as they continue to extend their lead.
Yeah, the two
Ocak 15'te başlıyor olması lazım. Ghost 15'ine başlayacak. Yabancı kurmaya karar verdi gibi ya.
And I wonder if this is to try and deal with the proactivity with
Bu sene sonunda normal Fenerbahçe ile bunların anlaşması bittiği için turkuaz olarak da oyuncular oraya topluyor olabilirler. Ama bunlar resmiyete kavuşmadığı için açıklamadılar. Onun için bir şey diyemem.
And in terms of the rounds that are left to play here for FUT, you do have options. You're looking at Mr. Fallen being close to getting the Nightfall online as well, and then a triad that you can choose from, and all valuable in execution. Hunter's Fury, Nightfall, and of course the Waylay ult.
Evet, onlar da akademik takımı. Şu an takip etmeden net bilmiyorum da Birlik Ligi'nde takım eksiği olduğu için ana takımlar akademi takımlarını doğrudan lige sokabiliyor olması gerekiyor. Ondan dolayı belki FUT turkuazı kurmak istiyor olabilirler.
I wonder, is that where the academy side is looking to challenge? You know, I mean, the eco round had 4 players on either extremity. Well, sorry, 2 towards A, 2 towards B. But
evet, Fenerbahçe'de yeni kadro kuracak olabilir ama işbirliği bitiyor olması gerekiyor.
Seems if this round, I don't know if there's necessarily going to be that opportunity.
Huge round for Liquid Academy to right the ship here. As you've seen the strength in meta right now of
bu yıl Ascension olmayacak. Bu Quarterfinal'in son senesi. Ascension yok bu sene.
And I believe he's opted against it. It's 1-0 with the op in middle, solo. And what appeared to be a pack of players approaching behind.
Chamber left to lock and seems as
Bahis moladan sonra farklı bir şey yaptırıyor. Hepsi B'de toplandı ilk defa.
It makes it easier for these decisions to be made. They are picked up. Ultimates to be thrown into this
Fallen ultisi oynayacaklar direkt galiba.
For either side or combining either side.
Very early on, you're seeing the Nightfall is going to be available here. For both sides, in fact. It's FUT that bite the bullet first, and Zeus takes one in the face as Mystic and Prox try and trade this out. Prox will double up to make it a 2-on-2. Yetu looking for the timing, but Rex palms it away.
Yeah, there's a dimensional drift if they really need to clear out, but Mr. Fallen instead gives away steps.
With that, 1-0's ready to take the shot, pull the trigger, and move Liquid Academy back within one round.
Bu abi biri mi peki?
In terms of the ultimates, they only used one. FUT, on the other hand, the same, but a round loss.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the problem is when they try to get in towards
görünüyor,
Team Liquid Academy are so prepared. The trade game looked great. I think the big one here is Prox being able to get one more before being
büyük bir takımda oynamadık kariyerinde.
Another one of those reasons why we've seen less Vice too is the lack of influence on the macro that she has now, because you don't get the sound cue from the flash anymore, but just with the utility that they had and the wall in middle as well that you're seeing going up, Liquid sitting so comfortably on early information.
FUT doing a similar round to last, and they're not really interacting with the Sage wall in A, or any wall, to be honest.
Yeah, double walls in 2025. It's not Viper and Harbor anymore. A couple more reworks and we'll get there, but...
Deary me, yeah. I mean, that's basically double drone used down B long as well, using the owl drone plus Prowler. So now we end up with 4 players on B long, exact same position as last. But remember, Team Liquid Academy still have that advantage in ultis.
Vice atacaktı karşı tarafta. Bekliyorlar gibiydi. Çok iyi.
And 1-0 gets caught mid-animation on the ult, in fact. Zeus also profiting from this position. But GSR in kind will pick Mystic back up on his feet behind the wall.
Sızdığı için dönüyorlar ama.
But remember, the Vice still up, allows stops the
duvarla karşılaştı, ilerleyemiyor.
And as FUT tried to make their way across, I think Team Liquid might get there first.
Still paranoid of this mid insert though after that initial opening pick.
Kalmadı.
Now FUT
Çok kör giriyoruz, bu bir tane vurursa sıkıntı.
Note their presence as they creep closer towards the A site, and Liquid can't find anything on the way in.
GSR unlucky not to catch Mr. Fallen.
Oğlum ne bir canı var.
No HP but still breathing. A 4-on-4 with the ult opened up. It's Mr. Fallen instead that strikes through the heart of the academy.
Astra karşı tarafta değil mi? Niye smoke açtı lan? Geçmek için smoke mu açtılar yani? Peki.
Liquid still holding out hope on this one for the time being, but that hope quickly fades.
Doğru, direkt playoff'lara katılacaklar bu sene. Gelecek sene farklı bir format olacak tekrardan.
FUT getting away with another execution. When the bodies aren't there for Liquid, these retakes have not been the best.
No, they haven't. And to be honest,
Ama mini bow team flex olur. Yani mini bow'u düşününce mini bow flex olamaz gibi geliyor bana. Belki de olabilir.
For at least a year, right? It's just the exception to the rest. And overall, yeah, I mean, you can see here just like the plan creation in terms of trying to deny ultimates that obviously Team Liquid Academy were trying to set up for.
Yeah, you're kind of wondering what the ethos was there, what was being used first. 1-0, I guess you could say, was trying to save himself with the mask on there, but the timing doesn't work out. And as you say, this FUT team, in many ways, has had the expectation, but also one of how it should play, how it should function, as Yetu gets the opening kill. Guys back in this team, of course, 5 years now, paying dividends, perhaps.
Yeah, the original kings of Turkey, as BBL has stolen the crown for 2025. 2026 could be something entirely. The barrel just seen from 1-0, but the Marshall not quite connecting, and that TP is expiring, but it has set up Mystic.
What can he do with this opportunity though, Cairo?
Not a whole bunch. Not a whole bunch.
Nasıl ya? Onlar playoff'lara katılıp playoff'tan Champions'a gitmeye çalışıyorlar. Öyle olması lazım.
Weapons not the most favorable, and so FUT will just run them over. You can see Zeus Refract Active is being a little cheeky. Procs not rewarded, unfortunately enough. So a flawless round for the attack.
Öyle bir soru sorun ki Rio Turu gibi cevaplamam gerekiyor soruyu. 2027'deki planlarını bilemem ki bro şu anda. Bekleyip göreceğiz beraber. Bu seneki Champion sadece partnerler gidemeyecekti mesela. Sen düşünebiliyor musun alt takımların gidebileceğini?
Not the worst. No. And I think
that
in some ways the current meta does
günün son maçı bu. 4 seri oldu, bu 4. maç.
Taking it on the chin to go and look for that themselves.
Öncekilerin özetlerini attım.
Face check rather than spend the util cost. But FUT going through the motions here, and 8 rounds on the attack would symbolize a very strong start for them on a map which we've seen them be good at in the past.
I think this round for FUT though is going to be pretty straightforward. It's whether the academy side get caught off guard by Yetu. That's certainly the case. That headhunter hitting exactly where it needs to, but it's up to Mystic now, and he's caught in an ultimate, but he's able to get one before he gets caught.
Lovely combo. GSR not getting any more though, and 1-0 so far away from play. It's another round where Rex is the first player, as confident as he is, to take contact and drops. The Vice setup lost. And 1-0 with it all to do to keep FUT honest here.
Bu bir tek dürbün silahlarla oynayabiliyor galiba. Diğer türlü bir makarası yok gibi.
So far 1-0 since his Team Liquid Academy debut.
Has the element of surprise. Baha shouldn't check this.
Erken 1v3 atıyorum peki. Oradan çözemezsin. Ace attı ona da. Yapma bunu no break. Masters'a gidemeyenler için bilgisayar turnuva yapacaklarmış ya. Kick-off edemeyenler için. Bunu sizin için özel araştırıp video yapacağım. Çok uzun da okuyasım gelmedi benim o yazıları. Burada Fallen'i vurmuş. Hiç koşmasına gerek yokmuş aslında. Olur öyle anlık şeyler.
In tier 2, but right now I feel as if while he's not the worst in terms of kills, he's not like what we expect from him either, considering the amount of times his sight has been hit.
Game of balancing that confidence with calculations, something which this Liquid Academy team knew all too well, even with previous versions of the roster. This one feels a little more tame, I suppose, in terms of the peaks.
Neden TLA tutayım? O anlık 1v3 kalınca öyle ekstra yaptım.
Pistol though, as the headhunter claims its first victim, and it is the head of the snake. 1-0 gone.
Yeah, it could be even worse, but Liquid are still sticking about.
Azızın yitiyor bir tane daha. Vur Misty. Fark ettiler. Aa, elinde silah yok ha.
Like here for Rex. I think he's just about managed to skip past the jump peak there from Mr. Fallen.
Yeah, you can see the recommit, although they really want to re-clear this. They must have known about the Vice, and well, they know about the push now as well.
GSR at the double, Mystic also chipping in. Crostali the only player in position here. He has to hold the line for FUT, and he's done a damn good job.
Yaparsın.
But can't knock a
Çok
single
uzaktan
player off
geliyor.
their feet, so it goes 2v1.
Yeah, so late
Biliyorlar mı
though as the
geldiğini
rotate
bilmiyorlar.
from Baha. Can he at least catch one player off guard? Both are low.
A shot to the toe of either player would take them out of play. But Baha nails it between the eyes of Prox, and so it goes 1v1.
Headshot atma bacaklarını okeyiz.
New into the roster, as is his counterpart. A tap of the smokers. The rookie looks to play mind games here with a liquid veteran in the server. Second tap, Mystic still won't bite. Baha starting to sweat as he can feel the pressure creeping in. Looking now to stick this out for half, and Mystic only just takes the timing. Still doesn't take the duel, but when he does, it's a kill, as you'd expect from the captain.
The fact that he walks away with the round here, it's a nice clutch overall. Baha should have had that dead to rights. You can see him just dancing with it. But if that spike had been halved earlier, I think honestly, you would have been able to catch Mystic off guard. I mean, it's a fight with yourself realistically in that point, because you got to decide whether you stick the spike or whether you don't. So at this point, at 8-5, Team Liquid Academy with an opportunity to start to really eat into FUT's lead.
FUT often good for an eco. Pioneers of the Outlaw purchase in the second round. Even on the losing side.
And I like this from Liquid as well.
Guys kendi kurdu tabii kadroyu.
Paolo to pop before they peaked to make sure that they didn't catch anything and give any opportunities to the chamber. We know what that headhunter can do. And there's also deposits elsewhere on the map. Plans to move back across as 1-0 now takes up the line on B long.
Good damage from 1-0 onto Yetajay as well.
Second TP burned, 30 seconds until that comes back online. That will probably be when the execute is.
Question is, how much of a distraction can 1-0 create here? Use of the fake out expected as the Yoru had already been spotted.
19 yaşındaymış baktım şimdi de.
And FUT not biting down on this. 3 players in the pit on the A site ready to receive, and it might just be 4.
Gerçekte kafamı çevirdim flash'a. Vermişler yine dürbünlü silah bizim elemana. Ekovan için ne kadar garantici oynadınız ya. Niye replay'ine giriyoruz? Marvan pisseydi.
I'm hoping that this isn't going to last too long. There's about to be a fight and nobody's dead.
Yeah, see, just in time, mate. You got to trust your replay operator. Okay. Goodness gracious. But that post plant should be good enough. It should be easy for Team Liquid Academy to get this over the line. But there is a late Frank from Baha once again.
With a classic though, how much can he possibly look to achieve here? They could have backed themselves up into a corner, but all of the rifles are there, and one of them already dropped. Baha starting to cut through the forces with ease. But that's until Mystic steps up to the plate. So many contributions in the kill department from him over the last few days on this roster.
And I feel as if it's a revenge.
Resmi turnuvaları değil de böyle sezon dışı turnuvaları da yapıyorlar ya. Red Bull turnuvasında da oluyordu galiba.
Exodus that he found himself in right on that focus roster. Feels as if he's been a bit of a yo-yo player up and down. And
burada 120 biz yayına beğenince kaç kişi beğenmiş oluyor mesela?
At the moment, whether this is going to be a permanent fixture, we don't know, but we hope it is, considering how well he's performed so far.
Exactly, first time IGL for him, and something that he was looking for heading into the off-season offers on his plate.
1-0 just did take a couple of bullets there from Crystali, I believe it was.
Yok, Paris olmayacak.
Again, we're seeing this head-to-head between Yetajay and 1-0.
Paris iptal. Online devam, offline yok.
Drop towards pillar, so 1-0 has to commit to really threaten FUT on the extremity. And he hasn't. It's the easy route out which he takes.
I like that though, because he's playing with what he's already set as the expectation. And with him TPing out, now Team Liquid Academy can just execute on A.
It's dragged another player over in
Double
the
cross'a
process
devam.
as well. Crostali Sova now involved on a vacant B site as
Nasıl yani?
Liquid look to increase their ambitions towards A. Mr. Fallen stuck in all the middle of this,
Doğru,
looking for a
gerçek mi
way
çekti
out,
öyle?
and is offered a corridor to safety backside.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 versus 4 as this take comes through. The flood not exactly working for FUT. Team Liquid Academy have the advantage, but that goes fleeting. Now you can see 1-0 forcing the backside fight. Takes YTG, but can't get Mr. Fallen. IGL versus IGL, and it is Mystic who comes out on top.
Bonus kazandılar.
Always credible for a clutch and continues to add to his repertoire there. Liquid back within one, a bonus converted off the back of both pistols won. And in this situation, for me, it's just 1-0 playing an advanced position. When the Astra wall goes up, looked like he was chasing shadows for a moment, but effective trades from the boys in blue. And FUT now put down to the eco.
Defense side attacks, unfortunately. You can find yourselves on that position sometimes. You look at YTG, rather than being so reserved again, once again, trying to push the extremity question. And this is going to really help the defense, is that Liquid are very quick towards A.
Mr. Fallen is stuck here as Liquid do begin to encroach on his position, and Mr. Fallen just can't stand up to the task.
It seems decent, the plan here. Liquid even trying to force forward as well in towards Pit, and it is 1-0 who's doing that job. But that's a trade.
Yeah, it goes 1 for 1. Res in play for GSR, but no real option to elect for it here.
Yeah, I don't know why you
Yaşlandı ya, bırak vursun birazcık daha.
In hand for FUT.
Super committed to this position too, where 1-0 was in the previous, and Baha diligent.
Yeah.
Bizimkiler rotate atacaklarını düşündü. Kullanmasaydı keşke ya. Son smoke'ları benim şu an canımı yakıyor.
Showing signs of hesitation again in this situation. Mystic still alive and has been so important to
5 canı kaldı Baha'nın.
Yeah, you know that Team Liquid Academy want at least one pick. That's what they're playing for. And as they tap the spike once more, nobody will peek. And when Baha does, he gets the kills. But Prox now finally in the kill feed will probably be the bow on the round. I don't know what Team Liquid Academy were doing. They were playing with all our hearts. As YTG walks in with just a classic. Finally the attack will collect the round.
Yapmasaydık benim son ultisi.
Turning the other way there, and it looked like just for a moment the passage of play might open up for YTG in the clutch, but not the case. 8-8 we go. As you would expect on paper, but I have to say, speaking of, feels like Liquid were trying to, you know, min-max that round a little bit too much.
Fate'le Sage'in ultisi var.
Crazy situations at you sometimes,
and
in some situations you do just have to compromise.
Sometimes, Haza, you need to bring the,
you
say, like, doesn't matter what plan you got, sometimes you get punched in the face and you deal with it. Sometimes Team Liquid need to throw punches. And this round, they're throwing fakes, it seems, as they're setting up 1-0 once again for B-Long.
Yoru ses yapacak. Teleport atıp ağın öncekiler gibi görünüyor.
Not a single round picked up on this defender's side. The story of their Pearl this year as well, funnily enough. That's where the struggles came from. And honestly, where you're expecting YTG to take over the game a little bit more, but 1-0 has been playing this B-long position and pillar pretty effectively, conditioning it and finding the kill off the back of a mistime drone.
Lovely stuff from 1-0. His Euro play so far has been excellent, and well, FUT now know that there's bodies in A main. How many? That's the question as they try to be aggressive. Unfortunately, Rexstone, even though he's been hindered, still hits unbelievable shots.
Baha the only one here, and he started wow! He started fantastically, in fact. Back at even footing. Vice wall is up, it has been trapped. And so the two rookies, the fresh blood in the FUT roster, has to win the 2v2.
Liquid know that they need space to sit in. They've chosen
Crostali
is here. He will take Mystic. Is there any more? Is it up to Rexstone now? A 4K is what he needs, but a 4K is not what he will get. A nicely played round.
Tam Geist'ten mola gelecekken roundu kazandılar.
Very maturely played 2 versus 2 in the end. Baha doing the heavy lifting on site, but the call to regroup up through art is a nice one. Crostali playing this down to the wire to just recover the operator.
I thought for a second, I don't know why, the angle made me think it wasn't halved, and I was like, guys,
trust the professionals, Kyron. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, my plat plays are not
Zayıf sanki 19 değil miydi ya? Savunmaya geçişten beri hiç vurmadı mı?
Top of the pops, and well, you can see why.
Saldırıda da aynı şekilde drone'u dojlamıştı, adam yine dojladı.
This is insane from Rex. And then Baha, yeah, I don't know, man.
Stealing the show. And I have to say, in what otherwise looked like a pretty well orchestrated round from Liquid Academy, it all just falls through their fingertips.
Ben geldim mola.
And so far, we've been seeing some, I guess, like immediate rounds. Bacon hasn't necessarily found value, but obviously you think of the guys' timeout, the rounds after that, the defense seemed to somewhat recover.
And that's the point that I'm just leading into as well with this 1-0 setup and conditioning of the long piece, that it is just a lurk, that he's waiting to rejoin the pack. Has the Yoru ult here, of course, and the Steel Garden on Rex as well. When do Liquid Academy pull the trigger and finally break away from that conditioning and go for the fast B play, or at least set that B play up later into the round? It's something that Bacon has to be thinking about here, because when you look across the map in terms of the space that they're winning and controlling the pace in the most, it has to be on that extremity.
You look at the assists for the players on Liquid as well. Well, Mystic sits on 10, it tells you a story that FUT are trying to push smokes, but GSR and Prox on 8 themselves can just show you what's happening in terms of the utility, as well as we're getting a very quick dimensional drift, and you can see pings of where Crystali is, but where is the chamber? Finally seen, and now the full picture of the B site has been told.
Accelerated B play coming in, and 1-0 wins that duel onto Yetajay again. Finds his man, takes the site, and gives Liquid ample time to set up.
Spike
will go down, res available, and well, it's actually the first ultimate on the defender's side, and even gets a pick.
Further decay onto Mystic's position, and the Prowler looking to capture him here too, but Mystic with a sidestep, and GSR back up on his feet with the rest of the team around him, making it a pseudo-flawless for Liquid minus the res.
Diğer hakkında bir haber var mı? Birkaç saat önce açıkladılar kadrosunu işte. Beklenen kadro kuruldu. Kamuoyuyla net duruyor. Onlar yanına Minibo, Purpo, Vayne diye bir oyuncu. Bak 5'liği açıkladılar.
And yet, Team Liquid Academy are making FUT sweat somewhat since the change of the sides. Look at that, 5 rounds from 6.
A blistering start for Liquid Academy on the side swap. Both teams playing favourites clearly with the bias. I have to say, as involved as Yetajay has been on this chamber, it was Zeus playing that role before for them in the 2025 campaign. And he's quietened down a bit, yet to see the value from this Waylay, really.
But it's Yetajay taking A main that's going to be the big problem, but that's not where Liquid want to go, into enemy lines.
As soon as they feel that out, you can see Liquid looking elsewhere. Close corner held by Crostali, and with only GSR walking in, it is an upgrade onto the Vandal.
Menajer açıklamasını görmedim, kadro açıklamasını görmüştüm sadece.
They tried to go and look for the trade, but no one there. And now as they hit into B, there's so many bodies.
Baha with the shorty in the smoke, only good for one in that situation. Even trade still keeps Liquid on the back foot, and this is the rifle which Crostali had claimed. Nothing done. It's all shorties right now on both sides of the server. 1-0. How has he managed to get that from there?
Oh, mate, God knows. This has been an interesting round.
1-0
is running around with a shorty. Can someone stop this man?
Göz nereye gitti?
So how FUT will pick that one out. But 1-0 finding a 3k with the shorty. Yetajay left with the ult to try and splice this up. Mystic should be the easy one. The slow field doesn't open in a strong position for him, but the second is. Prox blocks the movement of 1-0, who TP's out back to long.
Yeah, but he's going to try and use his TP to play with what Yetiji thinks.
The 1v1, the head-to-head we've seen so many times already. Yetiji just snuffing out the TP and has to, because this plant is not for 1-0 at all. Yetu wants the line, but when he takes it, 1-0 takes flight. A quad kill from him to push Liquid back in the lead.
Amonets, Minibo, Purple,
I
Vayne.
mean, that round, the only thing I could think in the back of my head how it could possibly go wrong would be for a clutch to come through from Yetiji. He gives it a good go, but you're never going to beat the race boss 1-0 at the moment, as it feels as if the momentum is firmly at his back. Flows at home wondering, once we come out of this replay package, probably going to find ourselves in a tech pause, as that's what's been called by Team Liquid.
Görselde mi bir sıkıntı var? Bayağı geç vurmuyor mu adamı?
It's the magic of cinema. Who knows?
Cinema?
Yeah. What tech pause? I don't see a tech pause.
Evet, Smoke ve Yoru oynuyor.
No.
Ama aim'i bayağı solid.
Do you know what a countdown is?
Bayağı bir 5 hour verebilir gibi.
Yeah, it's just a really long 25. We can start. We can do it together. 25. Really drawing blood from a stone with that bit, mate. But yeah, that could do with.
It's not a worst bit though.
I was low bar, but was kind of hoping that someone would do us a favor there. It looks like we're actually not too far from getting.
Niye lan bunlar Frankfurt oynarken de Frankfurt oynamıyorlar mı? Hep Frankfurt oynuyorlar.
Important to capture your thoughts here on both of these teams.
Paris'te oynuyorlar. Oralarda oynuyorlar zaten.
In the immediate future, at least.
In the immediate future, it depends.
Artısı karma takımı bilmiyorum. Yeni 5'lisi olabilir. Liquid'in akademisinin.
For FUT, I don't know. I mean, this idea of double, if they're going to follow through with the double scan and stuff like that, I don't know if I'm too convinced. The Baha and Cristalli look good frag-wise. It's just how it looks rolls when they go up against other Tier 1 teams, because right now, FUT are yet to play a Tier 1 team in Blender. We haven't seen that challenge.
Similarly to KC coming into today as well. Just so hard to quantify, even at this point in the calendar as well, how things will look at that point in time. We can say for certain is that Liquid have dictated the pace of these attacking rounds, and yet again, they find an opening kill, and it's Yetiji on the receiving end.
Yeah, that operator gone, and very quickly they know exactly where the Sova is, and no escape into the site, into where he can try and hide. FUT could perhaps already call an end to this round.
Looking at what they came in with, already Zeus away from the action, Mr. Fallen out on A. The spike at the top of the HUD, despite the lack of audio cues from the Astral, FUT have made their decision.
T2J sürekli deniyor, mecburen deniyor, denemesi gerekiyor. Ama çok şanssız yakalıyor sürekli. Oradan bir save gelmeli.
The fact that FUT had decided that they wanted to play on Peril, considering the record that Team Liquid Academy have shown. 6 from 6 is their win record. And then on top of that,
olabilir ya, güncel yamada biraz Initiator tarafı zayıflayınca belki çift enter oynayabilir takımlar.
Even to sweeten the deal, Haza, if you think this is going to be a 2-0, is the fact that Team Liquid Academy beat Na'Vi on Abyss. So they have what it takes to beat a Tier 1 team, not only in a general best of 3 like BDL, but also on a map like Abyss, like they did to Na'Vi. So FUT really need to be careful, because we're starting to move into dangerous waters.
Feels like Liquid are in control of this game.
Purple Rusya. O Nets'in kontenjanından mı giriyor oraya acaba?
Once more, this on the FUT side, but
Purple'un son maçları sürekli duelist. Initiator oynadığı roller de var ama KO falan oynamış, Sky oynamış, Fade oynamış. Ama bunlar çok eskiden oynamış yani.
Yeah, I mean the fact that the IGLs that he's played under, right, Haza?
Yeah, well, I mean, starting with Boaster, that's always got to be top of your list. Best in EMEA, that's for certain. Best in the world, many would argue. I think previous versions of Liquid that we have seen have ended up creating so many
Şu an isimler ki bu akademi takımı, bundan bahsetmiyoruz, ana kadrodan bahsediyoruz.
Specifically from that 2024 stint. And just talking more generally about the organization, even Safe as well, with Vitality in the previous year's kickoff. But yeah, it comes from a long line
Volta sürpriz de olabilir ya, bütün takımlar batırabilir.
Have given him and shaped him to be the guy he is today, right? Rather than the player that started out on Summon all those years ago.
And it's insane to think how young Mystic still is as well, generally. Not to say that he's old, but the more the fact that he's been in Valorant for so long, right? So now we move in to the next round. Team Liquid Academy, who continue to problem FUT, and they do so once again. GSR picks up Baha, one of the highlights in this second half, and seems to be who's really given a sign of hope for the defense. Rex just gave away a step.
And Zeus has to be looking out for this. There's a trademark behind him if he wants to give up the space. But Liquid have called the freeze.
Ben onun duelisten başka bir şey oynayabileceğine inanmıyorum nedense.
Zeus is stuck in art, and that's going to leave Crystalli all alone in A, where you can see this execute just coming in.
Yeah, and Rex has actually decided to take it one step further, so he's the backstab in this situation.
1-0 is the player to TP in towards default. Zeus able to get him though, and that's going to provide issues because the rest of the players now need to work across. Knew about Zeus and will grab him. It's the Sova now, just trying to hide away in towards Secret, but there's not much of a secret anymore as he puts himself in the kill feed, but quickly he'll feature himself as the death. So 2 versus 3 advantage to the attack.
Yeah, and now Liquid take up position. They've got 2 players deep in main.
That's going to be the issue, as if Prox could at least have gotten one, it would have probably been the end here. But as GSR is now noted by the Seas, the players of FUT are worried about Art. Mystic is playing from main, wants to use that star, can't get the spray transfer. So now Mystic using his grab well. Mr. Fallen is spamming the wrong place. He's gone searching in the wrong place for the answers that he was looking for. Team Liquid Academy will move up to 12 and 1 away from a map win.
FUT putting everything into that. They bought around the weapons which they saved, and in terms of what the defensive setup looked like from them, different to previous rounds.
Evet, duelist oynayışını takım da öyle istiyor olabilir ya, yapacak bir şey yok. Elde etti, başarılar var mı var.
A different initiator, Mr. Fallen this time. But it feels like little changed, honestly, Cairo, in terms of the setup, and for Liquid, a little more tempered in the take this time.
Yeah, I mean, that is the problem, right? It's like
yine FUT tarafında para varmış biraz da olsa.
Committed to A, and I feel as if FUT now have just become victim to what Team Liquid Academy want to do. I felt as if FUT were really good when it came to how they wanted to brawl together, how they wanted to get down and fight. And Team Liquid Academy now have taken the advantage through macro, through playing the map. And you feel as if both sides would favour either team, right? Team Liquid Academy having better macro, and FUT being on the defence, having better micro.
Especially when you look at those individuals, Zeus in particular. But when does it get to a point that it just feels like FUT are relying on him to come up with the goods again and again, and there is no plan B?
Hiç haberleri yok bu arada.
Players, as it's only Mystic spotted out in Art for the time being.
Yeah, but this is the biggest problem. Yetije being proactive up B long. Is this going to be a red herring? Because there's players now starting to move towards B.
I mean, looks like he's going to get value from it. Such a bold play for him to make, committing to this. Failure after failure in trying to defend the B site. Finally finds himself in a position where he may be able to create impact. GSR arriving in club outside of B, as it looks like Liquid might just be doubling back on themselves, or even going for a second swing at the B site, as Wanzeru is trying to create as much noise as possible on A.
Yeah, but this is going to leave Team Liquid Academy in a 3 versus 5, even if the spike does go down.
They still have 2 players here.
Yiğit'in kamerasından görmek istiyorum. Nasıl öldü ya? Buradan gelmiş.
GSR wins the duel.
Yapma ya.
And then some. GSR over-delivering with a chance to get a player back on their feet, but he just waits a moment for this regroup.
Salamıyor, duvarın arkasında kaldı.
Liquid players in the hall. Still one slow left on GSR, but he's just got to hold the line. It's Zeus walking in, but he has his time to shine. And finally FUT find themselves back in the sun. Double digits at long last. And Liquid denied at the first time of asking.
A great effort, but at least FUT do come back in. But again, they shouldn't have been that close. It just shouldn't have been. FUT should have had that tied up very early on. So we find ourselves now into the last couple rounds, and the big thing
Daha çok low kaldı. Acele etmeyin, biraz da zaman verin, oynasınlar.
That's what's going to change this game. Yeah. And especially when you think
Zeus burada spray atıp swing'i koydu ya onunla.
How explosive their economy has been, how vulnerable it has been. You can see here that light shields and guardians
Zeus 5 falan vurdu ha savunmada.
Yeah, Liquid doing plenty of damage there. Wonder how many Mel VODs from GCC Mystic's been watching on Pearl with these double, triple fakes. Little less affected there, of course. And Yetajay again under the microscope. Has Mr. Fallen in support, but his health bar is starting to dry up.
But you can see, you look at Team Liquid Academy and how many bodies have been invested, hidden away. And now finally, it's the dimensional drift which will start the push.
Ooh! Another kill from GSR to start things. One Shorty isn't going to land this time, but GSR is just looking through smokes, looking over them with his wall. And making for certain that Liquid will not lose their lead here. Wanzeru back in the picture, as is Zeus. He strikes twice.
Geçtiğini bilmiyor bu arada, ölecek ya.
GSR closing in, Zeus on borrowed time, and now a 3v1 for the rookie.
Yep. I mean, how do you even come back into this if you're Crystalli, especially with GSR up high, but is able to grab him?
The Academy Starlet in what would be an audacious 2v1 attempt. Mystic walks out in the open, Crystalli wins his one, but can't claim the second. Liquid taking Pearl in 13-10 fashion.
Yeah, I mean, they took a second attempt to try and get
maç
that
olur. Saat 1'e kadar buradayız.
But it has to be said, Team Liquid Academy looked great, and that's individually, whether that's 1-0, whether that's GSR. Team Liquid look as if they've built a great academy roster, and one for the future. These kids look amazing, and I think Team Liquid will be lucky to keep them. I think there's going to be a lot of scouting being done for next year. I mean, well, that's not even talking about 2026.
That's the thing, right? You look at this team for some of the players who maybe haven't found their place, whether that's in VCT for names like Prox or even Mystic with the history that he has, or Wanzeru just climbing back up the ladder but still so young and capable. Liquid have given an opportunity for these players to show what they can do. And as you say, the individual level was very high in the server, but at times I think, especially on the FUT side of things, looking past that, I really have concerns
alamamışlar, almak istemişler
this workhorse as a whole is actually operating and what direction they want to bring themselves in.
Yeah, I would agree, right? And I find it really hard to criticize the tier 1 teams because we still have essentially a month to, I think it's a month and a bit, right, until kickoff happens. And with that being said, like whether FUT have real development time there or whether this is what we see, something similar to the product right now, is FUT have a lot to kind of deal with and develop.
And with how much talent we've seen pouring out of Turkey, the double promotion in Ascension as well.
Ben de hatırlamıyorum, ben de ondan görmüşümdür büyük ihtimalle.
FUT missed out on so much of that 100%. Talent that they couldn't just insert so many of the names that we've gotten used to. I personally was surprised to see Ulf come up so quickly, but their rapid development over the last 3-4 months or so now puts them in a uniquely weird position as that team, which, as we said before, has the history of being the best in the region. Turkey, that is, of course. Going to these
padişahçısın herhalde.
But now not being able to count upon that talent pool which served them well in the past for names like Zeus, like Yetajay, these progressive upgrades they've been making around Mr. Fallen, who now I'm starting to wonder.
Yani padişah gelsin herhangi bir rolde oynasın mı diyorsun? Padişahın rolü ne? Sen her yerde padişah oynatıyorsun, anlamadım ki. Padişah. Padişah her şey oynamış burayı. İsveç çakısı mı? Main rolü belli değil, her şey oynamış. Interi ile Sentinel çok oynamış. Aralarda smoke oynamış bir keyfine göre. Bir olayında oyuncu Elf'i seçmiş. Parayla alakalı değil yani. Olabilir. Kesse neden en iyi oyuncusunu versin? Cevapla bro, sana soruyor, bana değil. Madem o kadar istiyorsun gelmesini, buna cevap vereceksin. Kaçırdın konuşmada, telefonum çekmedi. Yok, direkt Kaan soruyor ya, Kaan'ın sorusunu cevapla. Gelecek sene farklı şeyler olacak ama. Yeni mobisini kendini göstermek için son şans olabilir bir daha. Bu kadar Türk oyuncu yolunu göremeyebiliriz. Nasıl yer olacaklar kendine kadar Türk oyuncu havuzunda. Anime ile FUT arasında abartılacak bir fark yok. Arada padişahın takım arkadaşlarının kötü kalıyor. Götü kalkıyor diye okuyacaktım. Ben bir su içeyim en iyisi.
Sessizken bir anda durup dururken.
Bir kötü oyuncu değil ama 25 civar Türk oyuncu var. EMEA'da 4 takımımız var. Seneye böyle oynanacak yabancı takımlar 5 Türk roster kurma heyecanına göre her türlü risk. Padişah almazlar artık. Bellidir bütün takımlar. Sinetle ilgili bir şey göremedim. Yayını beğenmiyorsunuz, çok ayıp ediyorsunuz ama. Sen oynasa ne kazanacak botu gibi kendini rezil etme ihtimali de oluyor. Botu TR'de kaç yıl oynadı ki? Kaç sezon oynadı ki TR'de? Her oyuncu aynı sonucu vermez. Yani Ruxic de ilk senesindeydi. Gayet iyiydi ilk senesi. Çok iyiydi. Haritayı oynadı mesela. Çok kısa değil mi? Ajan seçiyorlar. Geçelim oraya.
Then be banned in the following maps. For Liquid Academy, though, when you look at what it is that they're missing out on and what they still have to try and play around, it's interesting that we're getting the Teho coming out again, actually from both sides, honestly, because this is an agent they played a lot of when Cooper
Ya
was still
olduğunu
in
yaptı.
line.
Bu bunu kendini rezil edecek demek de doğru değil bir noktadan. Yeni karttan kısım açıklamadan böyle yorum yapmak saçmalık olur.
Team Liquid Academy and one that has been gaining them massive success, only one loss. As for FUT though, I'm worried, right? Because Mr. Fallen has
Ama şöyle bir şey var. Bunlar takımları seçerken bu çok güçlü, bu bunu yeniyor, bu herkes yeniyor. Böyle seçmiyorlar takımları.
How the sky filters into the team, I don't know. They played it once here.
Gentleman'i seçtikleri gibi seçiyorlar burada. Düşmüş takımı nasıl yeri seçtiler, o şekilde seçiyorlar takımları.
They had to play a lot. They only had a 40% win rate on their attack, so you can kind of see the differences between two sides and the comfortability for FUT.
Yeah, comfort I think is a great word to associate with them in general, but also here as well. Zeus on the jet, something which we spoke about a lot with Levin as well, and the depth of the agent.
Tabii şimdilik iyi gözükmüyorlar ama çok erken.
Over him at points in time throughout the year. But now heading into the third pistol round of this series, FUT are yet to win one so far. But what a difference maker.
Birim son illetinden kurtulamadık. Burada da karşı tarafta var.
Project Blender survival and a semi-finals berth tomorrow. Kicking things off with some A main control and almost every player.
Hem Oman hem birim son mu oynuyorlardı bunlar ya? Sıkıntı kardeşim.
His own smokes, a nice paranoia, but not one that will net a kill. GSL's Sheriff will, and more to be garnered. Can there be anything more? Can it get better for Team Liquid Academy? It certainly can.
Yattı aşağı atamadı. Olduğu yerden devam ediyor eleman.
So pivotal that they do. Yetej at the double, and that's what seals it.
Biraz daha ses açmam gerekiyor ama.
To find a single kill in that round as well. It felt like Liquid Academy was set up nicely, looking at Prox and
Hangi CS kadrosunu sattı ya?
Prox also a player who was always
CS farklı bir durum. CS'ye para yetmemesi durumu başka bir şey. Sponsorluk alabileceği tek şey bet şirketleri olduğu için, Türkiye'de bunu yapamadığı için. Şu an oyun sesi de iyiyse kalsın böyle. İlk haritayı Liquid kazandı. Şu an 1-0 ikinci harita oynanıyor.
Especially with the changes that we've seen to Abyss as well, controlling mid gives you much easier access now to the flank on B early on, especially if you're on the defender. It gives more meaning to the mid walk down than maybe it did before, at least in terms of
Haritaya giderse Liquid Astra oynayabilecek sadece galiba.
He'd love a tag on one of these players, because otherwise there's nothing to take away. He got one!
Yeah, it's only the single one.
Atlayamadan Baha vurdu adamı.
Waiting to see if FUT would hit the sight of 5 players, and then was able to keep away 4. So with that spike down and the economy going towards the attack now, they're able to start to gain that momentum.
Bonus round conversion would be huge. As, yeah, Baha deals any more damage onto any of those players, and a jump off the map would have been credited kill to him. No ults online into this bonus, but GSR getting closer and further away from the A site, which FUT looked to initially approach.
1-0 looking to give up A main as well as FUT approach, which could have been key space, at least that information, but it must have looked to have expired. So straight away you're getting the drone, and if that had
Turnuva sezon dışı bir turnuva. Yani kapalı bir turnuva.
Well, a double backside hold here for Liquid Academy, but this time Mystic is playing ahead. Can't quite connect the bullets, and with that FUT, go a player in front.
Yeah, that they do. There is one player low. GSR almost solo just for the moment as he waits for Rex to get into position.
Just about breaks the dog, unfortunately enough, doesn't go stunned. One flash left in the pocket, and this fragment if required. Rex also with his own molly. Liquid now making moves into the site. GSR flashes over the top, but Crostali yet to be cleared. His position key. Rex will know about it, but has to adjust a top site and does an excellent job of it.
İlk başta buraya doğru bakmadı sanki, anlamadım infoyu. Beytullah sen CS ile Valve'yi karıştırıyorsun şu anda. CS'deki fonlamadan bahsediyor. Partner olunca Riot destek sağlıyor transferler için kulüplere. CS'de bu şekilde işlemiyor sistem. Yani tutup CS kadrosunu satıp da biz Valo'ya kadro kuralım dememiştir turnuvaya.
It starts to open up this slightly wider conversation in terms of how both teams are approaching things and the adaptations that we're expecting. Where do Liquid want to give up the site and compromise themselves? Because their retakes haven't looked great so far. Otherwise, FUT are happy to sit on this utility usage. As 1-0's starting to aggress here again.
Öldün ki.
But FUT are also here to try and challenge. Mystic still gets one.
Blokladı, Zizut 5 atamadı.
Even trade, Jet for Brimstone, and GSR finding Yetaji allows the rest of Team Liquid Academy to focus on wherever the push is.
A back-breaking kill in middle. Baha also sighted on the limits of A with the spike arriving. But Crostali is caught away from this, and Liquid Academy might just catch him in the
crosshairs. Seni alalım içeriye.
Fantastic mid-round and overall. Prox as well catching the Baha, trying to move through the map into this site. This is unbelievable. Great round calling by Mystic, or anybody, whoever it was, one of the players, to try and be proactive.
So seeing Prox dropping off there as well, playing discipline, not allowing FUT to get what they want, a way back in.
Mr. Fallen needs to get that spike down. He knows he's under attack on every front at the moment.
It's Mr. Fallen actually that gets the fight that he is looking for in the end. FUT back to what is a 2 versus 1 on Prox here in security.
Yeah, and this would be a big isolation hazard.
On the line first. What util does Mr. Fallen have to tee this up? Nothing apparently. And Prox has already sighted the second target. Baha with a lot on his plate. Another 1v3 attempt to which he can only find 1 kill. Liquid right back in things on the rifle. Scoreline level again.
Decisive. I think that's the key word to be the difference of the two. It's just how decisive Team Liquid Academy are on their decision making. GSR takes a coin flip in mid, one which works in his favour, luckily enough. That's almost a coin flip fight, but one that Mystic's paranoia kind of bails them out. But it's this proactivity down mid, whether it's called by Mystic or GSR, to challenge and cut the rotations off, is what gives Team Liquid Academy the round.
I'm glad you also mentioned GSR there as well, as he has become more and more vocal as he finds his confidence, he finds his place in this lineup. Originally breaking out on flashes, not a common role to do as a star player, but has had to take the mantle of duelist in the meta that we had this year, and it's something which Bacon has actively promoted for him and his development.
I think Team Liquid Academy were really one of the first adopters since we saw DRX use that Mosquito comp, which I really liked. And is it crazy to think of that being a tier 2 team doing that?
Well, you would be surprised. A lot of ideas that we see in VCT do start out in challenges as a playground for.
Rol etmek için ajanlar fena değil aslında, edebilirler.
I would argue in some sense.
Şu an Eko diğer el bakacağız.
Play the Waylay Yoru before it was in vogue, or at least at champs. This is an eco for FUT, but they have made good ground onto the B site already. Spike has to follow.
Bunlar buraya girmek istemiyorlar şu anda. Baha'ya güveniyorlar. Baha diğer tarafa çağırdı. Anladı Liquid. Liquid 5 ile geliyor A'ya. Bu sefer de Zeus B'de kaldı. Bir tur daha B'ye döner miyiz? Zeus 4 atıyor.
A trap, the blind leading the blind here, I guess.
Yeah, Team Liquid are now starting to
Kafalar karıştı. Bir daha B'ye gidiyorlar sanıyorlar.
Team Liquid are playing themselves.
It's another one of
Omun
those
yönlendiriyor
rounds where
galiba.
Liquid are fully sat in spawn, no control, but
Omun
still
vuracak
better
ki.
weapons.
İnecek oradan.
Yeah, much more reserved, and FUT really need to hope that these lurkers come into play on time.
Double Joker card maybe set up here for FUT. Baha does fight the front lines for just a moment,
bizim
but
lurkler kaç
Liquid
saate
wants
gelir?
to close the gap. The KO ult pulsing, no extra util to find value from this position, but an open plant and players creeping up the heaven corridor. Prox needed to win that duel, only good for the one. Zeus still floating around over the conscious of Liquid, who are sitting static, idle, waiting for something to happen, but it just doesn't feel like anything will.
God.
Nothing good, at least. Mystic drops, Spike still half, but time running out. Crostali can just play to the
Playtime,
clock here.
playtime.
Needs to find the shot onto GSR. Well, he does. 1-0 just about gets them
Enti deriz.
through.
So labelled and unnecessarily so for Team Liquid. I mean, I don't even know what the calling was in that round. It felt as if Team Liquid took a back seat. The retake, they get into sight, there you go. It's this duel from here from Prox, just a little bit too aggressive. And yeah, I mean, it is essentially what comes down to 1 versus 1's won by Liquid.
Crazy, right? Think about the round just before that, night and day.
Yeah.
Honestly, has all of the makings of a team which
Yani
is
evet şu an
just beginning.
BİM'ine Eko'yu düşürürler
I
gezi.
suppose, at least with Mystic at the helm. And they're again on this B fight, and Zeus just cleans up this time.
Kabı
FUT
kapatın
with a
artık.
concrete
Hayır,
advantage,
silah al.
something they've struggled to find a foothold with so far.
At least GSR gets one back, but he is hearing the steps run away and calling that to his team. But
Yine aynısını yapıyoruz. Baha girdi içeri, bizimkileri çağırıyor.
Seekers are going to spot him out. Prox can look for a preemptive rotation, but FUT aren't committed, wedded to this A play yet.
But look at Yetiji in the corner. He's going to be probably the round winner for FUT.
Once again, the mid duel. So much riding on it. Prox maybe looking for one in front of the divide. Can't quite get what he was looking for there either, and neither can GSR. FUT having this all but wrapped up right now, and Liquid will give it to them.
I mean, Prox, if he was able to get that kill onto Mr. Fallen, it's only a 2 versus 3, doesn't work out. Do they still want to commit to this defensive economy in mind, and the amount of time that's been wasted trying to find Yetiji through mid?
I felt like maybe for a moment, Mystic re-interested,
Nereye
but
gittiler?
you look at the FUT side and how much util they have here for post-plant.
Yeah.
Salvos prepared, a Sky Flash on the tap, and of course, the Gravity Well in the background. Things looking a little bit better for them here. But again, it comes back to what we were talking about earlier and the individual brilliance of Zeus setting them up.
Ama da bu programı her yerde söylemem ama.
There's anything here that you've seen that might be replicable in the rounds following?
I guess somewhat, right? I mean, you think in that last round, like, just the fact that FUT was so quick through the mains to fight, you can see here, right, for instance, GSR is able to at least get the trade through. I mean, individual, sure, but I think the big one for me is going to be Yetiji's positioning in mid, actually, and how he's able to cut rotations, as we've seen many a time. Team Liquid Academy use that portion of the map.
Just the one rifle saved in the end, as Prox did fall there, as time was winding down. not just Yetajay's position in mid as he
Kaç
gets an
yaşında
early spot on
olmalıyım?
the
İlk
spike
haritaya
camp,
Liquid
but how
aldı.
Baha has been able to seamlessly walk into the A site is something which Liquid Academy might want to be thinking about. Another fairly passive default being shown here from the attack side.
And the attack using ultimates, not sparing any mistake here, making sure that they can get into site successfully. Zeus is going to try and entry, but it's a bit laboured. Finally is able to get a couple of kills here, and one that puts FUT 3 players to the good.
TLA rolls out the red carpet. FUT only
Keşke siz
paid for one
deneseydik ya.
ticket, but it's all they needed. Zeus on the guest list, he's right in there. And
Güzel.
with 3 kills already under his belt, this is a done deal.
I mean, the thing that I've noticed about Zeus, well, we see Baha almost grab 1-0, is that on the first fight that he takes, very shaky, very like panicky. If you watch those shots, but once he settles himself, genuinely incomparable to anybody
Gösterecek bu
else.
sene
You
operatör de
cannot
oynayacak.
compare how good he is once he's feeling that confidence.
Started off really well in kickoff as well. I'm thinking of a map they played against Fnatic here on Abyss where he really starred in that performance. And heading into stage 1, he was a total beast. It's just in those playoff exchanges really where you saw the drop off a little bit more, I think.
Remember when me and you had cast him for the first time on the
Maçta oynamıştı, fena oynamamıştı ya. İyiydi.
Yeah, I mean, the kid has got it in droves. It's just, I don't think it's necessarily a question of ability. I think it's a question of things outside of the server, like mental and being settled in that spot. And that's a question for coaches and kind of third-party staff in terms of your performance coaches, etc.
Back to the round, Liquid Academy do have weapons here to hold a candle to what FUT want to try and do. And for the first time, we're seeing Liquid very happy to concede that A space when FUT pull the trigger.
Yeah, and the reason why they're happy is because look at the amount of ultimates to come back in here.
To Salvo initially to slow things down and potentially a
Hiç
combo
fikri olmaz.
in backside. Paranoia and Flash
Oldu.
lands onto 2 targets. GSR walks away with both, but
Helal.
Baha has picked up 3 of his own, and FUT have quashed another retake, or so it would seem.
Yes, but Rex does have
Orada bizim
control of the
spike'ımız
spike,
kaldı da.
and there's no way for FUT to get it back without going elsewhere. Time is low.
20 saniye var ama farkında mısınız?
Yeah, this is
Böyle gidemeyiz
really
oraya kadar.
playing it down to the wire. 20 seconds and time ticking.
Burası kırık değildi galiba. Kırık mı kırık?
Repositioning in main. Where does FUT go and try and plant
Zaman
that spike?
kalmadı
He
lan.
knows that he holds the drop, the quickest route to access that spike. Rex takes his timing right, and he has the perfect setup. It's a slightly open plant.
Ananı sikim bu.
He's looking for the spam, but can't deny. The 2v1 opens up. Rex with a couple smokes and a molly in pocket, but he's relying on the gun to bail him out. And just can't find the shots he was looking for.
Hadi bizimkiler yine istediğini yaptı da bu neyi planladı? Benim son berbat oynadı o zaman.
Overall, and I think he'll be himself frustrated by how he finished that attempt, clutch attempt. And I think that's the big thing about Prox, right? Is that sorry, not about Prox, about Rex, right? He's a player who is a little bit inexperienced, has been in tier 2, and I think that's why Bacon is going to time out here.
It's also off the back of another one of those rounds where we've seen
En kötü Spike'ın yeri belliydi. Mol atsa olmaz mıydı oraya? Atlarken yakalamayı da denemesini bekledim de yapmadı hiçbir şey.
Think back to Pearl, for example, and case in point, some of those retake rounds when they had the Vice and the Yoru ult up. It's a similar picture here with the Brim and Waylay ults that we see. Usually a pretty good pairing to combine if you can slow a player to put them in the pressure cooker. And it did leave a slight gap for Baha to try and play around with on that left-hand side where GSR wasn't looking to clear out. Questions to be asked of his players right now. The 3 rounds that Liquid have picked up, and the silver lining here, have all been in rifle rounds. You know, they didn't pick up the pistol or the anti-eco. But FUT at the same time have 3 of their own.
Yeah. Just to confirm, it was actually the opposite way about. It was the defense that was better for FUT than what it was the attack. It got the statistics wrong.
As it tends to be on Abyss.
Yes.
Your holds do look better. They could have such a surplus of their own utility though with this double initiator waylay look that they've provided us. And you can see the want from them to clear out some of this A space. Yeah. Concessions have been made in middle though, and that is the point of most concern.
It is. Mystic has the player to go back and check, but he's not really committed to it, and that's allowed Zeus the entry into the site. But Rex, with a sheriff in hand, has shown us the goods before. Can he do it one more time? Seems as if he's going to connect at least one bullet, but overall his position well and truly compromised, and that's going to allow for FUT to at least clear things out. So at least one concession in the kill count as a rifle recovered. Let's see the damage that Team Liquid Academy can do on the pickup.
Yetu dropping all the way off as well, inviting this pressure. Lovely reposition.
Yeah. Oh, nice damage though by Prox. Maybe better with a sheriff in his hand, it seems. And there's an escape for the attack forces out in towards the defender spawn. And I think Prox, for the most part,
evet, bu hafta bitecek turnuva, yarın diğer maçlar. Ertesi gün final.
Yeah, I think so. Liquid make a couple of gains, at least in terms of that mid-fight that we were looking at. The presence on A, something that we've not seen from them so far, and a real focus, I imagine, of the timeout from Bacon, an area which they want
yarın
to
4'te Vitality F maçı. Giant X'de bu maçın kazananı da 8'de.
A lot easier in these last few rounds.
Yeah, and I think like it is an equal round in the end for the defense, so we will come out at 63 overall, but one that we need to see, maybe Team Liquid get a little bit more tighter to their opponents, not to have such an extensive lead. I mean, 8-4 was the gap that Team Liquid Academy bridged when they were on peril. Abyss might be a bit harder.
Double initiator, in fact, towards this extremity, but 1-0 the player to open the scoring. Rex has to be careful here not to get overwhelmed, and already Zeus on the line is good for that first
ikinci kez gözüme batıyor derken.
1-0 trades.
Yeah, entry in. Advantage still within the defense, and you can see
Yine fake verdik bu arada. Yine Baha gidiyor. Biz Heaven'a çıkmalısın. Evet.
This defense is right is that they're not going to know exactly if the spike has been attempted to be planted until that wall drops.
On the one hand, Liquid Academy have given away the A site, and they're going to pay that cost here. On the other hand, I'm happy that they've actually committed to one side of the map.
Ruhlarını yakalama ihtimali var mı peki Veyle'yi geçerken?
You're looking at this deep positioning mid that's a problem, and Baha
Bekle.
to force the issue. It sets up
Ölme oğlum işte. Vurdun böyle geçerken.
Should walk away with at least one. Already does. Brings him out of play in post though.
And Mr. Fallen in heaven finds himself a nice little corner in which to play with, and still one flash in his pocket.
Early ping on the spike when he gets the chance before the smoke
Patlayıcı var.
drops. Salvo's in for good measure. And as Prox will attempt to try and fight his way out of this, it's already slipped out of reach.
Patlayıcı atmamış mıydı? Gerek var mıydı ya hızlı piklemeye?
As they were able to
Sezon dışı özel bir turnuva. Öyle bir önemi olan bir turnuva değil.
If they can win a couple more here, then you really start to feel that much more confident about their chances.
Yok, yarı finallerde bu 3. Sadece büyük final bu 5.
FUT now to win out the map. I think this attack side has found the momentum, has just been running with it, and the nice little like fakes and stuff. Team Liquid Academy, for a team that has played this 5 times, won it 4. I don't think I'm fully convinced by it just yet, since they've played against a tier 1 opponent like FUT.
Oh, flash onto 1-0, keeps him at arm's length, but he still commits to this fight. Won't be rewarded for it.
Yetiji at the same time, look at his scaling through mid.
Oh, nice little set piece here. Use of the Armageddon to force players forward. Favorable here for Liquid Academy. A 3-on-2 which they win.
Yetu.
Evet, bu turnuvan oluyor. Bütün maçlarda ajan ban muhabbeti aynı. Bu 3 maçların hepsi aynı şekilde işliyor.
Liquid Academy player the wiser. First target spotted, second lined up, and Yetiji confirms it. FUT back in front.
Can Yetiji close out the round here and now. Information known about the last two players for FUT. They've set up the post plan accordingly and have the Teho alive.
Ocak'ta başlayacak. Ocak 15 diye başlıyor olması lazım.
From GSR, bit of a bait as YTG is still left to his own devices here. And GSR will know that that molly hasn't fully cleared, so he takes it upon himself to make sure that extra space is taken.
Ben
And
atsam
now
bu kadar
to
kör
post
etmez.
one for FUT. Still salvos in play. Liquid need to force the issue. That's the only way they win this round, and it's gonna have to be Rex to do it for them. No half on the spike just yet. That second salvo still in play. Nothing left that he can do. So FUT move up to 8.
And you can see why Teho is so popular.
Sanki ekonomileri kötü gibi ama bu streak'ten para gelecek mi?
Post plants, the distance you have to cover. It can be frustrating.
Öyle mi? Büyük finalde mi bu? 3 bakayım. Evet doğru biliyormuşsun. Bu 3. Üçüncülük maçı da varmış burada. Yalandan bir üçüncülük maçı. Olin orada ortada kaldı ya, mecbur çatışmaya girdim.
Somewhat broken the bank as well when you look at this last round.
Bir Guardian, bir Bulldog var.
Final opportunity for Liquid to give themselves a foundation from which to work in that second half. Another 8-4 reversal required of Bacon's players. Wanzeru has the way layout up here as well, but that initial lean towards A has now converted itself to a mid focus.
One which they know YTG is so important. We spoke about it before.
Drone'u götüremiyor. Pencereden çıkartamadı.
The win conditions. 1-0 on the line though. Through A main. This is where the spike is.
Oh, GSR winning such another impactful duel. Wanzeru only left with the rifle to defend this, holds his post. The flash does connect from Mr. Fallen, but as the spike carrier, he can't commit. It's the B fights that look most tempting right now, but as YTG takes another, he falls. Down to the last two pieces FUT, split up from one another. Liquid Academy might just have done all that they needed to recover this one.
30 seconds left.
And that trade probably signals their doom for the round for FUT. And there you have it. 8-4 is the final scoreline.
Bu round o kadar hoşuma gitmiyor ki, haritadaki cesetlerin yerine bak, herkes bir yerde.
Right? And it was the exact same switch on sides. Deja vu perhaps. I mean, it'll all be decided certainly by that pistol round.
No, absolutely.
Bu round tam tarih. Bakayım yazmışlar mı?
Maybe a change of fortune for them. Cairo. It is the defender side of Abyss that we're talking about, one which
Amerika 15'inde başlıyor. EMEA da 20'sinde başlıyor. Hadi Pasifik'i de söyleyeyim. Pasifik 22'sinde başlıyor. Sen şimdi Çin'i de merak edersin. Çin de 22'sinde başlıyor.
And one which you're going to often see them try to exploit, whether it's through mid control or just a direct hit, which the pistol seems most
biraz geç uyandılar değil mi?
Huge round for them. As it is for FUT, a chance to draw it that much closer to a decider.
İki tane smoke var. Her yere smoke atacaklar mı? Bakıyoruz.
Players are going to come towards the A site once again very quickly. A quick pop back, and as they try to drop out of heaven, you can see Rex is already the one to put Team Liquid Academy ahead in the player count. Even players escaping after a barrage of bullets headed their way. And it should be, yeah, as simple as that.
Oy!
I thought it was going to be a round end, but Crystali.
Fena gaza geldi. Salın. Gelecek Ace, gelecek. Ace. Olmadı.
Wins out the round. But what the hell was that from Crystali?
Get me a replay. Get me a replay. Crystali, even in his wildest dreams, wouldn't expect to hit shots like that.
Veyle'yi kimseyi görmediği için Yüce aşağı inmek istedi de. Yani riskli.
Was that quick? Even the replay couldn't catch
Yeah.
it. No, I think that the big thing
Önceki haritayı Liquid kazandı. 1-0 şu anda.
In terms of the smokes for
haritada 8-4 bitmişti.
Earmark space, but the Omen actually being used as almost like a second entry in terms of that TPs.
Yeah, Rex's Brim is going to have quite a lot on his plate here. Question is,
Öyle demedi,
can he
baitlediler
digest
kendilerini,
it?
olmadı.
Just the one, not ideal.
Değişim iyi bile birebir.
For the loss though. It's now if Baha is cleared, as so as he drops into the smoke. I really like this usage of the drone buy procs. He's been doing this a few times, and that's going to net 1-0 the kill.
Yeah, Baha does very well to live as long as he ends up living, but the lack of weaponry here is what's going to sell FUT short.
İlk harita 13-10 bitti, evet. Liquid 13-10 kazandı.
Just about creep round the corner. He has a great timing here if he can find it.
Yeah, that's a big if though. His FUT are trying to get back in, and at this moment in time, I don't know if they're waiting for Crystalli to be the one to initiate
Dostları
this
eksik
pushback.
tutuyor
I
olsa
think
2
he's
tane
just
çok iyi
playing
olur
Christmas
aslında.
as it. FUT not really wanting to contest this round.
Positioning of Mystic means he won't spot it, but for the most part, Liquid have won this.
Bu ne? Köy'e verdiler silah arasın diye. Gerçekten gidiyor.
Yeah, we've seen both teams already kind of use Brim in the blender draft as a substitute for Astra, or the opposite way around. It's what FUT were doing on the first map.
Yok, bu Liquid Akademi olduğu için o şekilde yazıyor. Team Liquid Akademi. Liquid'in gerçek takımı değil. Hani A takımı değil.
Whereas Liquid are doubling up, kind of similarly to what we saw from Na'Vi earlier on, and a lot of other teams that have chosen to use it.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Bu farkı mı şimdi? Adam hiç tepki vermedi. Durdu öyle dümdüz.
Every agent of a class has a differentiation, right? Sky gives info through flashes, for instance, comparably to like that of KO. Brimstone is the one with the longest lasting smokes. That's his difference maker.
Yok estağfurullah, ondan söylemedim, açıklamak istedim zaten, sorun değil.
And I think that's the big point, and that's what allows Omen to be able to gap close.
Look, if Liquid can get themselves in those positions, then yeah, you expect them to be able to stall FUT out. But Zeus has already made an early incision. And it is just the mid space right now which Liquid have.
It's GSR who's first out the smoke, and it's GSR who's second down in the round for the attack. Remember, Team Liquid Academy won the bonus on
bütün maçlar bu oyun.
What really allowed them to garner those points back in their favor. But as for this point being, yeah, FUT have got everything they need in this round. It's so simple,
oh my God.
And it's going to end up in an ace for Zeus. And has a Team Liquid Academy just kept forcing through one chokehold.
That is something special from Zeus.
Güzel bir film önerim.
One player at a time, but jewel by jewel, barely missed a bullet. Incredibly crisp. Again, he is FUT's win condition in this map.
Evet, roundu tek başına oynadığı gibi gösterdi böyle.
That's how it hangs in the balance right now.
Öyle de olduğu gibi.
It is a bonus denied for Liquid Academy. They're going to
Buradan haritayı kapatsınlar 13-7 direkt.
Opportunity here. Question is, do we see the same from FUT again? And if Liquid can't get a foothold, then that might just be this one drifting too far out of reach.
For those wondering,
Basin Born mu? Çok eski film, söylemedim mi ya? Onu hatırlıyor olmam bile çok iyi şu anda. Prestige. Çok eski değil mi bu filmler?
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeni filmler kötü diyorsunuz yani kısacası.
Yeah, look, I had faith that it would clear up, but unfortunately
2006 amına koyayım, asırlar önce izlediğim film işte o. Film önerisi isteyen bir insan bunları izlemiş olmalı. Çok eski değil yazıyor.
Win the tournament here, yeah, no.
Do you know what was funny? Obviously he'd been messaging a few people about the predictions, and I am the one to predict Team Liquid Academy.
Yeah, you are.
And I said,
Reedy verdi, Reedy başladım.
He gave me a little bit of praise, and I said, you better not let me down.
Okay.
To which I got a very funny response, which was, don't worry.
Evet, V4 Vendetta.
Full faith from Bacon, obviously.
Yeah. And look, full faith that this game gets back on track now as the tech pause has concluded. But yeah, no, I agree. You got to back the boys from Northeast in a way, but FUT have put them to the test here, well and truly, showing that extra level. Zeus opening up the ceiling again and running riot. as Liquid play another slow round where Rex is almost a lurk, as there is no sentinel in this composition. Sorry.
Still a slow roll. TLA may fall prey to the mid-rounding of FUT because of how long they're taking.
Evet, dizi dersen ben de bir tane söylerim, sürpriz bir tane.
Primed for a retake. Both FUT players fixated on the connector as it stands. You can see how quickly Crostali wants to take up position backside when that flood comes in.
Already the cycle state have been set
Whoa.
up. The combination of FUT players does net them what could be a site defense. Two players on the flank.
Bir smoker kaldı. Benim sonunda ulti var. Bizimkilerin ikisi arkadan geliyor. Pozisyonlarımız iyi. Son ultiyi kullanamaz. GG. Gençler, benim izlediğim tarzda değil ya, benim hoşuma gitmedi.
Liking that you can see Mr. Fallen trying to set up Zeus as well with that dash primed in A, collecting the early info.
Ben de tam onu düşünüyordum. Kimliksiz zaten Jason Bourne değil mi?
The B execution when it came in, still keeping half an eye on mid. And Liquid back to pistols as they started this half.
Yeah. The thing is about Team Liquid Academy, for those who aren't enjoyers of circuits outside of Tier 1, is that they do show up time to time with those sheriffs. I'm thinking of GSR, we saw it in the pistol round. Rex as well, if he finds himself in a kind of good position. But overall, yeah, Bacon obviously after that tech, not happy with what Team Liquid Academy was showing. So he's going to have to use his time out to try and bring the boys back on side. 4 rounds the difference between the two.
Benden size öneri, bilim kurgu izliyorsanız bunu izleyebilirsiniz, dizi.
One of the reasons that Bacon can be endearing is his reaction cams to some of the a little more frustrating rounds to concede on the Liquid side. I don't know if that Mosh stress ball has been through it or not. In fact, I can probably assume the Mosh stress ball has been thrown a couple of times already. But looking at it here, as you say, 4-round gap.
Evet, yani biraz farklı bir konusu var. Benim hoşuma gitti.
They have managed to control these rounds fairly well so far with the lesser weaponry in their grill, but it's a fast take from Liquid this time.
Towards the site they go, and it's the utility once again that FUT have to try and dance around. Yetishi almost netting himself a second kill, but it's Crostali who is the leader in the kill round, in the kill feed for this round. Finally netting himself his third. Mystic trying to fight back.
Ekonomiyi fark etmedim, bunlar force mu attılar? Stinger Guardian falan vardı. Force round mıydı? Force oyun bitti.
They can't. And there is no answer from the attack on the
Değil, paralar o kadar var mıymış ya? Ekbomsu evet. Transfer kısıtları ne zaman gelecek? Vallahi hep aynı şeyler olduğu için, videoda bir 2 dakika olacağı için ben o şekilde yapmak istemiyorum. Biraz daha ne bileyim Pasifik'ten falan bir şeyler çıksa yapayım da. Hep söylediğim şeyler, aynı oyuncular söyleniyor.
Zeus in a similar situation here, but he does get his one.
Yeah, that he does, but the loss of the KO is massive because the no command offline. 1-0 overhead.
Baha çok iyi yerde bu arada, fark etmediler.
Baha kept himself alive, but actually baited his own teammate. So the attack
bir canı var onun.
And advantage taken.
Yitu silah al, Yitu.
And with 1-0 sticking that entry, Liquid, when pushed to the wall, do respond
mesela
eventually.
Ulus falan açıklasa, geçici olarak senete transfer etse.
Back to 4 rounds. Ultimates the decider once again as we are at a pivotal point in the map.
Yok, ben CS'yi o kadar takip etmiyorum. Yapamam onu.
Map point and guaranteed overtime. Team Liquid Academy have been quickening the pace in their executes.
Aslında ikisine hiçbir dedikodu çıkmadı, bilmiyorum.
Place further and further importance on their A main hold, an area of the map which I mentioned in the build up to this side switch.
Böyle bir avantaj olabilir mi ya? Ama BBL kadrosu da aylardır birlikte oynuyor. Bu daha büyük bir avantaj değil mi? Pasifik yenerse sürpriz olur. Uyum sağlaması daha zor.
Playing from top site manages to put up the Astra smoke before the null command comes in, and support has arrived for FUT. This might just be the round which pushes them out of reach. Liquid Academy trying to stay in it, fighting for their lives as Mystic takes top site for himself. Baha still fighting from backside, and Krostali there in
13-7 demiştim. 13-7 olacak bakalım.
Players on the FUT side starring in this second map comeback.
Yeah, I mean the amount of smokes on site there was ridiculous from both teams as they were both trying to play within the smokes, trying to.
Yani CS ben oynadım da e-sporunu hiç takip etmedim. İlgimi çekmiyor noktası çekmiyor, evet yani.
Pushing themselves onto map point, pushing themselves onto what could be a map win on their opponent's pick. We will get that map 3, it looks like.
Depends if Liquid can find a way to turn this one around or not. This time it's a changing of the guard. FUT with more numbers towards B. And that mid-reaction they were waiting for is going to come a little delayed. Mystic taking the ult into spawn here.
Yeah, playing within his own smoke, and nobody from FUT is clearing him out, so that gives him a little bit of.
İşte baksana, base'e smoke atıp içine ulti attı herif.
And there is pings going out, so
Ready, man.
rather than try to defend their own spawn, look to take the spawn of the attack.
I love this from FUT, and they've also got that cam left back on the B site as well. The traps to stop any players coming round the bend. What can they do with this positioning though? Because
Daha fazla gitmesin bizimkiler. Dönün geri, dönün geri, dönün geri.
They should understand of a reposition
Tek iyisi
Yeah,
geldi.
but because of the cages, it's making Liquid worry about the position that a potential anchor could be in. Taking their time to clear out, Spike goes down, and Yetaji unlucky not to have an angle on towards the Spike plant.
Claustrophobic post plant for Liquid Academy on what could be their last stand here on Abyss. FUT starting to close in that distance. Now positions revealed towards the backline. Great knife from GSR. Sheriff going to follow things up quite nicely as well. As is Mystic, with the trades are there for Liquid, just about. Still without the weaponry they would want, but they make it happen.
Fark ettirin mi? İTÜC'ye atlayamadı, aşağı düşecekti.
Those are 4 chances which FUT have to win this.
Yeah, and FUT had set themselves up for the defense perfectly, right, by taking that main. You were hoping it would be a shooting gallery, but 2 smokes.
Pasifik bütçeleri çok yok diye biliyorum. Ne yazmıştın ya, bir şey diyecektim ben. Kadroyu sattılar, bütçeleri vardı yazan mı vardı az önce, öyle mi okudum ben, kendi kendime mi uydurdum onu? Bütçeleri vardır, kadroyu sattılar ya. Peki o BBL'in zaten takımıydı ya, oyuncuları parayla mı aldı BBL?
And them having a real chance to realize this comeback as it's still in its early stages. We saw GX come back from 8-12 down on bind earlier against Na'Vi. 4 rounds of overtime required to settle who would be making it into the semi-final, and it is GX, of course, who are waiting for whoever wins this one.
Cam broken. It was only the omen shown as the drone through mid tries to gain some information, and it's pulling players across. Now the A side, the weak side, and not a whole bunch of utility to support it either.
Sanmıyorum parayla aldıklarını. Pasifik partner olduğu için Riot onlara fon sağlayacak, para verecek.
This is FUT's home ground, or Liquid's I should say, and they have managed to take A.
Yeah, there's also a really late rotate from Rex as he's playing so deep in the spawn of the attack.
Ocak'ta var.
Just wondering if Yetu's going to make this play or not. Zeus already getting active again. The front man for FUT finding his value. Liquid holding an aggressive line, trying to park the bus in front of the doorway. Zeus finally dropping, but GSR makes a meal of it. Liquid on the back foot, playing from main, and that's the molly gone. Rextone relieved of his duties, and it's all on to Mystic, and he can't shoulder the burden. We will be going to a decider as FUT get things back on track.
Yeah, FUT
Evet, partner olan takımlara Riot sağlıyor.
You can see the strength of the composition and
GG.
how well attuned they are to it. Team Liquid Academy though, it felt as if they never really got started.
No, it didn't, right? They were chasing the game for the majority of it. You look back to FUT picking up their first pistol round win in this series on the attack side. That really planted the seed, which continued to be watered by Zeus, among others. I think you look at the front three, which FUT had set up, and we're talking about the three newest players into this setup. Yes, Zeus has a full year behind him now in VCT, but both Crystali and Baha really impressed me on this map, where I had concerns about them coming out of Pearl.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Overall, Team Liquid Academy though, we're going to be looking at this now up to this map 3 because
Kadar
it
para
wasn't
bütçe verdiklerini
a
bilmiyorum.
horrible performance. They didn't get completely whitewashed, but they didn't look like themselves. They didn't look like what they showed like on Peril, right, in terms of that macro difference between the two teams. And I think that was the key difference on that map.
Absolutely. And so, to a decider, we shall go very soon. It's Corrode on the horizon, Cairo. And now this is a map that we had seen Liquid Academy play quite a bit of in the past. But I'm thinking a lot as well about how their retakes have maybe suffered so far in this series, on the defender side specifically. And I'm then wondering how exactly things are going to look for them there, and what the game plan really ends up proving to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering as well, right? I think like retakes can be really dependable upon which map you're playing as well, right?
Sure.
Like Peril can be a little bit awkward in terms of how you
İlk
come
maçta
back in that
305 ACS'ti
post plan.
sanki,
We
300
saw a
oldu
lot of
şimdi de.
times Taeho really being dominant on that.
Müthiş
Crowd
bir
may be
hasar.
a little bit different because it is so defender sided from what we've seen.
And it's also actually the first map in the series where Liquid will be starting on the attack. So I guess on the flip side, you've got FUT on the defense, and Zeus starring as a back-to-back MVP on both Pearl and Abyss. I said it earlier, is the win condition for this team. If
Round başı
he's not
2.5
landing the
kill
shots, which he has
diyebilir
been
miyiz?
consistently for the
Diyemeyiz.
last two,
2 kill
on
diyelim
map
hesap.
3, then that's where I see the wheels falling off for this FUT side, which otherwise have been very much in both of these maps so far, with the amount of rounds that they got on Pearl, and this win looking better for them, of course, on Abyss.
Yeah, and moving on to
Turnuvanın para
I was
ödülü.
wondering, like Crowd is so defender sided, right? How good can Team
Birinci
Liquid
takım
Academy really
16.000
be on the
euro.
attack? I'll tell you
İkinci
what,
takım
Hazard,
10.000.
they have nearly a 75% win rate.
40.000 euro diyor. Nasıl 40.000 lan? Totali mi şeydi?
We'll have to see if it plays out in practice or not.
Phase 3'e de para verdiler mi? Vermedi, vermişler.
Final to settle our semis for
Totali
tomorrow.
75'ti galiba. Şu an birinci 16 alıyormuş. Yok, şimdi baktım 16. Etmiyor mu harbiden? Bunu nereden hesapladın ya? Burada bir sürü şey var. Phase 2 falan para verirler mi bunlar? Bunları nasıl oturup hesapladın cidden? Yani 300-400 euro vermişler sağa sola. Hiçbir şey şu an kötü gibi. Bura 40k ediyor. Bunu hesaplayamam ben. Siz de hesaplamayın. Boş verin. Siktir edin. Burada PES 4'te para veriyor. PES 3'te para veriyor mesela. Takım başı yazmış 1200 euro. Hesaplamayalım. Boş verin. Onlar düşünsünler. Pacific 7 diye birini almış. Anlaşmışlar 20 dakika önce. Bunlar bayağı uluslararası bir kadro kuruluyor. O eleman Meksika bayrağı mı bu? Benim çocuk Meksikalı. TSM'de oynuyor. NA'den adam mı getiriyorlar? Çok ilginç. Lider Loud'a gidince oradan mı gördü ki bu elemanı? Valo'dan eklesem oynar mıyız? Bro ben tek başıma oynamıyorum Valorant'ta. Biz 5 kişi oynuyoruz genelde. Bazen 3-4 kişi olup bir kişi aradığımız oluyor. O şekilde denk gelirsek 5.'imiz olabilirsin, öyle söyleyeyim. Valorant'ı görmedim. Valorant'ı var mı? Ben görmedim Valorant'ı. İlk senesinde çok beğenmişim de 12 sene düşük geldi performans. Ben takip ederseniz yayın açtığımı görebilirsiniz. Birlikte oynayabiliriz o şekilde. Magnum niye düşünülmedi acaba? O da boşta kaldı değil mi şu anda? Magnum'la ilgili haber yok. Varsa hatırlayamadım. Eyvallah Efe. Ben hatırlamıyorum sinetle ilgili bir şey gördüm mü? Ama bu sene de oynamazsa biter mi ki sinet? 23 yaşında 24 olacak. Gerçi Penny bile hala bir takımda oynuyorsa. Sinirli yeterince yırtıcı değil ya. Bence smoke falan lazım. Bu sene oynar gibi, oynamazsa biter. Efe atalım. Bullshit mu bu adam? İyi, geri sayım bitti, maç hemen başlayacak gibi. Bir su koyalım. Hocam yıllardır izliyorum seni, izlenmelerin 10-20 bin hep nedense uğraştığına değiyor mu, yayınlar kolay gele. Bu benim için hobi gibi görebilirsin bunu ya. Benim hoşuma gittiği için yapıyorum çoğu şeyi. Diğer türlü bunu bir kaynak olarak, bir kazanç olarak görüyorsan devam etmezsin zaten. Böyle düşündüğün gibi bir para kazanılmıyor. Ve algoritması çok sikten olduğu için algoritma çok kolay bozulabiliyor. Ben istiyorum ki her maç atayım. İlla ki bir izleyeni vardır gibisinden atmak istiyorum. Bunu yaptığında sistem seni cezalandırıyor. Bunu yapmaman gerekiyor. Bir maç izlenip diğeri izlenmediğinde algoritma seni aşağı çekiyor direkt. Bu yüzden izlenmeler sürekli oynuyor. Ben her zaman video atamıyorum ki o şekilde stabil bir aylık şu kadar kazanç sağlıyorum diyemem. Eyvallah Nevzat. Mesela sürekli böyle şeyler yazıyorsunuz arada bir. Mesela bana destek vermek istiyorsunuz. Ama beğenmiyorsunuz ya da arada bir yorum atmıyorsunuz. Bunları yapmanız gerekiyor destek vermek için. İzleyip kaçmak yok. Sol taraftaki kadını açıklayayım mı? Bütün sırrı bozarız ama. Bunu da çok merak ediyorsunuz. Her seferinde açıklıyorum aslında, yazıyorum. Sinir mi oluyor? Orada reaksiyon veriyor yalandan. Kendimi buna inandırıyorum. Siz de buna inanın. Tam telif yememek için değil de. Ben buna inanıyorum. Hadi çarlar seçiliyor. Oraya gidelim.
would say I wouldn't see them making one of the Ascension games at the very least. I could see them winning a game for sure. But even then, if you also look back to like an Enterprise, who we did have at Ascension representing Northeast, they got swept in the finals the last time they played them. So yeah, checks and balances, but with all hypotheticals aside, we can now actually take a look at what the picks are going to be for both teams as we enter Corrode as our final map of this evening.
Yeah, for those folks at home
Ekranın
wondering,
merkezine odaklandığınızda kadını görmüyorsunuz. Çok fazla kadını düşünürseniz gözünüz orada kalıyor. $455 geliri hiç gördün mü? Ben eklenti kullanıp da kanalın kazancını görüp onu mu söylüyorum bro? Orası da doğru veremez ki kazandığı parayı. Ben bir ara Elren'in bir videosunu attıydım. 1,5 milyon falan izlendiydi. Sene kaç ama? Sene 2021 mi? O video tek başına 15.000 lira falan vermişti. O zamanlar gerçekten asgari ücrete çalışıyordum. Asgari ücretten fazla para vermişti o video bana.
The Your Route Neon, something which we saw also played by teams such as Heretics when they were starting out their figuring of the Corrode meta.
Yeah, and it's something that they've played before and have won with before. Can they do it once again? We will find out. And what is essentially a best of three, or best of one, sorry, for who goes on to the semi-finals between the two.
This is essentially a best of three, Cairo. That's right.
Thank you, mate. Where did you hear that one from?
You, moments ago.
Thank you.
The can foot strike twice and find another pistol round here. One-way traffic in the first map, favoring Liquid. The attack has been pretty good at generating results so far, but Zeus goes 1 for 1, and honestly, by his standards, that's a big loss for FUT.
Yes, I think it's a big loss for Team Liquid Academy, considering that's the Prowlers offline, and now they have to essentially face check everything. That wall goes down at the worst time as well, as Yetiji was able to find Rex. Right now, FUT are in front, but can they keep going? The answer is no. The answer is yes, sorry. It's 1-0 and needs to keep going. As he starts to re-clear from B link. Headshot cleared, and now you look at Baha, who is very low. And 1-0 a little bit over eager there. And FUT able to win the
Blok var Efe, belki ondandır YouTube. Benim de öyle oluyor. Aleykümselam bro. F kazandı. Yarın Vitality ile oynayacak.
Loving the paranoia coming in from him here to set up the mid re-clear from FUT, showing their priorities early. And in the trade game, Liquid ground down to a fine pace. Put on pistols. FUT with a great opportunity to channel some of that momentum from Abyss.
And I think that's the first
MG kim amına koyayım? Yine kimi yazıyorsun sen ya? ETJ var burada, onu verelim.
That is true. 3 from 3 heading into this one. As we were saying earlier, first time
kazanırsa Giant X oynayacak.
Just the 4 rounds.
Fanatik bu turnuvada yoktu.
And Zeus already can smell blood in the.
Ha, ne oldu? Benden izlenir VP dedin, gittik.
Liquid heading A.
Crossfire established, and Zeus looking to profit off the back of a paranoia as the players run in. It's so easy in the end. And it's just going to be a Guardian.
Benden mi? Diamond da yedir bro.
Stolen by Baha and Cristalli, but a flawless round nonetheless.
Stolen ace from a 3K. That's the regard that we hold Zeus in. Any target in front of him might as well be a dead one, like you say. Well on his way to an early Blade Storm. But FUT keeping things clean into the bonus. This was a great paranoia from Baha. He's now 2 for 2 in the last couple of rounds.
Bro.
While he was an unknown for a lot of people, I spoke to Bambino, the assistant coach of this FUT project, and really asked him, you know, where's he come from? And he is a hidden gem within the Turkish scene, one which, you know, the knowers know and anyone outside.
Diye bir turnuva vardı, Fanati orada görmüşsündür.
Big vibe merchant, and keeping those spirits high heading into the bonus.
Just once again, with confidence high, looking to take space away from the attack.
There's 2 targets scanned on the knife there. Zeus knows that he can look for a duel and wins it. One bullet, all that's required. Can't get out of dodge. GSR chases him down with lead. And Liquid have numbers to overwhelm this A site now.
As they start to collect, though, they're taking their time doing it, so, and that's allowing for the KO to get into position. Baha can't really get the spam to work out, but the smoke going down means that that site is now more secure. A lot more players, a lot more bodies, but Team Liquid Academy with GSR open everything up like a scalpel. Mr. Fallen playing on the edge of the nebula will find himself lost in space. And in space, no one can hear you scream. So now we look at one player left. Yetije coming back in with just a Spectre in hand.
And Liquid should know. As the search
Size bir şey söyleyeyim. Crostal'de ping var bence. Crostal'de bir gariplik var. Crostal'e tepki veremiyor. Çok pingi var onun gibi hissediyorum. Kaç görünüyor tapta? Başka bir olay var yani. O şu an istediği oyunu oynayamıyor. Yani bu normal mi amına koyayım? Adam ateş etmiyor. Ping var bu adamda.
Over halfway through next year, end of stage 2, so you're not expecting it anytime soon.
Aleykümselam.
As his development continues, it's just another key moment from him in this series.
Basıyorum taba.
Another key round between these two that could go either way. Zeus trying to be the player of the round, the protagonist, but it's not going to be the case as GSR seems to be the man of Corrode. He's still got himself a kill and even trades out the second, keeping Liquid in front.
Yeah, couldn't get out the range of the salvo there, had to take the TP. Nice mechanics, procs one more. And Crostali in the heat of it now.
Yeah, and I don't know why he's trying to play in here because Team Liquid Academy have got so many bodies on the line, an absolute gamble and one which will not pay off. Team Liquid are now equaling things out and on top of that have done a lot of damage to this defensive side economy.
Diğerleriyle aynı gözüküyor ama farklı bir durum var gibi. Normal görünmüyor. Herkes evinden oynuyor yani turnuvayı.
But the last couple have been one-way traffic. Proc stealing the spotlight for himself here with 3 in the end. And Liquid immediately back on terms.
And I think that's something that we've seen
Sert bir akademi takım.
Hasn't had as great a series as what we normally would expect from him since he's been on Liquid Academy's roster. Oh, those shots a little bit wayward, and this now starts to get worrying for Team Liquid, especially with Zeus having those blades up and available. GSR still alive, and that's the biggest problem that this defense could face because you know how good he can be with a rifle in his hands. Zeus out and got, and Team Liquid now looking to finish off the round, but where has Baha come with that classic?
Out of left field, it's daylight robbery as the classic claims 3 Liquid lives. I mean, yeah, like you say, Crostali not the best at the start, but as soon as Liquid start entertaining this mid-duel, just creates all kinds of problems for themselves. It's the second round also now that we've seen where they've tried to play FUT here, and you don't see that often. You really don't.
Orta olmasaydı ne olurdu acaba orada?
You'll take it though if you're FUT, because now you've got that operator up. It has announced itself though, so very early on the attack no. Oh my god, that's jumping around like a face hugger.
It certainly is. And while the shelf life of the FUT Classic may have expired for 2025, there's plenty of money back in their pockets now. And with this operator set up in elbow, it's a difficult clear for Liquid, and one which they can't rise to the occasion of. GSR gone, and how much left can be said of the attack side behind this?
Yeah, Crostali has created so much delay through using the null command, so that's what Team Liquid Academy are waiting out, taking their time to do so.
Yeah. They need this suppression to end because they require Prox's Haunt to open things up for them, whether it's through the circular window or reposition in mid. Wanzero goes down for the cause, but there is nothing taken from it.
Yeah, on top of that, FUT are now starting to rotate off the back of that kill, it looks like. So it's a 3 versus 2 on site, but not for long.
Plenty of delay here as well on the FUT side, and the forces continue to congregate as Baha's going to join into the mix from main. A late dagger hovering over the shoulder blades of Liquid, who continue to draw blood. And he'll get in on the act as well. Flawless, it finishes as the lead continues to extend.
And now, look how much of a blunder that thrifty round looks like nowadays, because with it being 4-2, this defense looks as if it's recuperated its problems. And an operator that is willing to go and take engagements and fight.
Biz kendi evinde değil mi ya? FUT mu oynuyorlar? Gerek yok FUT oynamaları falan bu turnuvayı sanmıyorum.
Nowadays, at least in organized play, but the operator in its current state is there to be made the most of, and Zeus, proficient as anyone else, has factored in quite nicely.
Bilmiyorum, belki doğrudur, net bilgim yok. Ama sanmıyorum da bir yerden bir yandan.
They know the reaction from main. Yetu actually missing the molly is a problem, but how much of a problem?
Well, looks like Liquid should have just enough safety to find a plant here if there isn't delay, but they haven't committed to it. And Yetu's now trying to search out a jaw for himself.
Yeah, the timing's insane though, because all the players are in the attack, the defender spawn.
It's going to be a 4 versus 2 if they can tune this to their liking. Liquid
Maalesef.
gathering the numbers.
Finally they go for the spike plan, and it seems as if 1-0 is the one caught, but to scale back out this Viper wall so nice, and it's going to work out for FUT for the time being. All the weaponry in their favour. Still one to the good. Well, it's up to GSR now with just a sheriff in hand, and he can't make it stick.
Bağının süper kahraman atlayışı.
Yeah, this has been a dominating state of affairs outside of those first couple of rounds from Liquid Academy. FUT in full force, Cairo, and it has a similar likeness to Abyss as well. At this point in time, we're yet to see a timeout from Bacon as well. Pretty happy, I suppose, to go off what he's hearing.
Yoksa isminin bir anlamı yok. Kısa ve sallayınca akılda kalan bir şey olsun diye arıyordum. Bunu yaptım.
And right now, FUT are controlling things, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and as well, there's been a big conversation about Corrode and how you're meant to play it, what coaches' ideas are. Right, we saw Split be very defender-sided for the longest of times, and then eventually, as the meta developed and teams learned the map, we saw it really start to go towards the other side. As for Corrode, the theory is that you have to be a lot more attack-sided with your compositions, from the most part.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of up to each and every team what it is they want to do in that sense, right? Because sure, we have seen teams in the past try to raise their comps for the attack side to make sure they're getting as much
şahsi yayınımda bunu şu an değil.
It leads you to then play the defense a little bit
Kick'te uyduracağım sana hikayeyi ben.
Differently, sorry, I should say. And for Liquid here, with this double duelist, you are expecting results from them, and honestly, with how FUT have begun things, they are setting a very high bar, I think, at least in terms of how the individuals have been showing up. Again, Baha, Zeus, and Krostali, the ones towards the top end. But now is a chance for Liquid to answer back. 60 seconds to check back in with Bacon, 3 ults to their names, and a B-site execute levied.
At the same time, while this execute's going on, Yetu's not really looking to try and hold to the site. Apparently he is. I was going to say, he wants to play for this late flank coming through, as it's 3 bodies strong.
It's the cosmic divide there that makes him feel like he can anchor a little bit better, but Liquid all over it. And actually, Baha catching 1 in transition. Still, FUT closing in, but Liquid have taken elbow.
That they have. They've got very
yasak değil kimseyi rahatsız etmenin sürece.
That spike planted open can be issues. And this retake, there's an overdrive as well if things get really worrying, but that drone doesn't get off what it's looking for. It's suppressed now as they start to re-execute in. Baha, the operator, finding a kill, but out of heaven comes 1-0. Krostali with the double, and now things really looking worrying. We need to see 1-0 at his best, or this is another FUT round. Denies the spike plant.
Yarlayamadı ya.
Mr. Fallon onto it, and dancing with the mins up. What an ace! We said we needed his best, and he gave us it.
Gerçekten wow.
That is excellent from 1-0. The same duelist player we saw star in a map 1 performance on Pearl from Liquid, finally unleashed again. The entry kill did so much to just take that weight off the chest of Liquid. And what ends up being almost a 1 versus 4 in the end. It's just excellent. The movement from the smoke to bait out Mr. Fallen on the last. That's what this kid can do.
That's what he can do, but can he keep it up? Already it seems as if he's full of confidence, challenging A main and threatening the possibility. And FUT start to waste utility to deny it. That's
Burayı bulduğun iddiaları doğru mu? Ben hiçbir zaman kaybetmedim ya.
Liquid now conditioning these burst executes onto site as they should with this comp. So much opportunity to close up that gap instantly and leave FUT rendered useless. It's mid where they're looking, but the problem I see right now, Cairo, is there's no extremity control.
Bir midden ilerliyor. Midden backside'dan B'ye gelme işi.
There's a lot of question marks for FUT right now that they need to clear, and this
Hiçbir şey bilmiyoruz ha.
stack of 5 bodies is just moving towards B, and only one player is challenging.
Yani Fallen şüphelendi.
That info game again. Mr. Fallen
Bir vurması çok iyi.
upon himself to try and do something here, leaving Zeus all alone on B in the hot seat. And right now, he's just going to crumple under the pressure. Baha doing his best attempt, but the pit goes up and Liquid are in.
Yeah, Spike going down, really nice trade game by TLA, and now this post plant should be invulnerable to anything that FUT try.
Big 1 versus 1 in main. Mystic waiting for Yetterjay to crash the corner, and as he does, beheaded. Liquid standing strong. 3 versus 1. But we've already seen how much impact one player can find. Wanzeru waiting to greet Crostali, the savior of the previous round, securing it here, as FUT will simply walk away. Liquid bringing things back within 1.
Yeah, and bringing it within 1 is going to put Team Liquid Academy in a really threatening position for the next half as they move on to that defender's side. And keeping all 3 players alive.
Zeus operatörlü ilk kill'i bulamazsa çok zorlanıyor, elinde kalıyor silah ve hiçbir şey yapamıyor. Etkisi 0'a düşüyor.
So as we start to head into what is the last 3 rounds of this half, it's going to be important to see where these rounds end up landing. Because if we find ourselves 8-4, then you're thinking, do you know what, FUT, you've done a decent job. But if they go the opposite way, then I'm worried at a 7-5.
Look, if we get an 8-4, FUT have done a decent job 3 times. They have been on the front foot with twice as many rounds, 2 times over. Here, the onus is really on Liquid to give themselves something to work with in the next and not make it a real difficulty here. Tehawal committed to B main, but fortunately for Liquid, the only player there is the one that can get out quickest.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate. I like this idea. I wonder if it was thought about by Team Liquid. I'm going to assume it is, just to be nice to the players and think that that's very good stuff. But on top of that, FUT have now committed 2 ultimates, the only 2 that they had. Viper's Pit off the back of it to cement the space that they have cleared.
Timing a little interesting on that one as well, as the pit was just starting to flood out.
Evet, sonrası için sıkıntı çekiyor. Elinde patlıyor sürekli.
But as you say, FUT in a much stronger position to be ready for this A hit from Liquid Academy. As we've crossed the minute mark and all eyes are on Crostali.
Yeah, he's getting chased all the way down.
Patlayıcı
0 at the back, and well, Team Liquid Academy filling that kill feed red. Spike can go down, and plenty of time to get the post plant set up. This is going to be 5-5.
No doubt about it. Wanzeru wants to make it another, but the overdrive expires as he is sent marching orders. Back to the spectator screen. FUT just really struggling to contain Liquid now. After that timeout, we've seen them change up the way they're playing this, not over-investing in mid a lot of the time. Other than that 1 round, we saw them walk all the way through.
Ama tipen varsa çaktırma yani. CHB de çok iyi operatör oynar gibi geliyor bana.
And that's something which has maybe lacked a little bit in terms of their decision-making so far throughout this series.
Well, as the spike will boom, we end up all even once again. Are the players going to walk into Yetterjay? Doesn't look likely. So with 2 rounds remaining, no matter what, we are going to get a difference now in the score lines at the half.
Yeah, Liquid have had casualties, so no reason to risk it there. And as you can see, the 3 will buy for 2. Just the pace that 1-0 can set here as Liquid start to turn that screw. 5 rounds to 5. It's been a while since we've seen Gaius or Bambino's ideas translated fluently into Turkish introduced. And this is one of the final opportunities that FUT will get to ensure that they do have a lead in that second half.
Paolo denied any information by the
Umut'un jet performansı vardı ya Ascent'te, ondan dolayı demiş olabilir.
Nightfall available. That should be pretty straightforward for Team Liquid.
Sure, Zeus didn't quite have the angle there. 1-0 is already
Biz bu midi
punished.
bomboş bırakıyoruz her seferinde. Adamlar cirit atıyor.
Only one of the duelists seen though.
FUT with good info in the previous round off of the peaks that they were taking, and
Where's the Viper off to?
you can see here, yeah, Rex has managed to get all the way in the back, and with these players deafened, he can start to move up a little quicker here, but it's all superfluous in the end. Liquid with a much better approach on that A-duel. Crystali noted and expelled. Liquid draw 6th first, and with how this one started, Cairo, that is a huge return.
Last round in the half.
Is starting to get to a position now where we're seeing Team Liquid Academy and a very commanding one. 7-5, an advantage which might feel insurmountable. It's all to do with the pistol round in the next half, and it's all to do with this next one right here. FUT have the operator back up and available.
Yine operatör aldı Zeus.
Two ultimate orbs off of their
Ve
ultimate.
saydı bildi ama yani yakında kimse yok. Gelen yetenekleri kimse kırmıyor. Nasıl oynayacak? Yardım et, yardım et. Kurdu kır diyor. Yani çok zor.
Baha teeing up maybe a second engagement here, but Crostali now 1 away from that KO ult.
Just the one. That's all it would take, but Team Liquid Academy have shown us the goods before, and the fact that they're able to fight back, this dimensional drift to identify where the issues could be if they executed into A.
Çok iyi vuruş bu arada.
What a shot from Zeus. And with GSR silenced, Liquid can't find the breakthrough. No way to crack open this A site. As FUT start to reposition into elbow, with Crostali taking contact again. Zeus actually instead on the other side of her own defensive smoke. This one is stuck by Mystic, and while Zeus isn't going to land the shot he's looking for, everyone on Liquid does.
It's a bit windy, mate, and that's not what you're looking for if you're FUT. So now, Spike being attempted, and FUT, they're not going to want to challenge this so far, but they are going to get
saldırısı daha zor.
The numbers are here. FUT are ready to fight this. 3-on-3 still. Liquid looking for their way in, and it's finding Crostali before the flash pops. Yetajay close to this, is to the ground, but 1-0 will put him there. Into the dirt. Mr. Fallen, the last to fall.
Herkes tek tek pikleyecek mi böyle? Olmadı, yakışmadı.
After being 5-2 down.
Patience of saints. Does Team Liquid have? Oh my god, words betray me here. At the end of the day though, it's all about the advantage taken from that. And I can't believe that FUT I completely messed up that sight hold. That should have been a 5-3 advantage on the defense. As done deal as it possibly could be.
Especially when you have Zeus on such an aggressive line, but as soon as Liquid navigate it with that Astra smoke, it's a problem, a different equation entirely. As is the second half. Liquid onto the defense, where things haven't looked as strong for them so far. FUT on the other foot. The attack has been a real strong suit. But without Zeus, it's a different ball game.
Rex has been played for, though baited for. Is that Sheriff shot is much deeper than one would think.
And Still, you can see FUT defaulting this, but Liquid Academy, on the other hand, being really proactive in the measures that they're taking.
Now Rek's the one to try and re-clear, but decides against it. Thinks now that mid may be the issue, and it is to some degree. It is Yetaji who's there. The Sheriff shot's good, and look at Rex. Comes out at the right time, downs the spike. Shot's good now. Team Liquid Academy not accounting for the mid player, and that's the issue. It's GSR now, the one whiffing. Spike goes down, and look at this 3-player pack starting to move through from mid.
Yeah, a little loosey-goosey for Liquid. And now FUT can fully focus this crossfire on Link.
Yeah, that the cannon, 1-0, the one to break it. The trade's good, but it has left 1-0. All alone, can't connect his Sheriff shots. He just needs 2 to the body, or at least 1 to the head. Up above is Yetaji, and down below he goes. Team Liquid Academy will win the pistol round.
Today really hasn't been Yetaji's day. 1-0 on the other hand, coming up in spades for Liquid again. Rex played that perfectly, in my opinion, because you really don't want to overstep there. You already have the rest of the team getting proactive. He has toxins, you hold the line. It's then that some more of these start to filter through, and actually, FUT do find themselves in a winning position. But as has been the case so far on Corrode, 1-0 is the gold standard. And with that, it's another double pistol for Liquid Academy. 5 out of 6 in this series.
Is it that much? Just shows you how quickly Team Liquid Academy can start to steamroll things. And very quickly they can start to really punish you. It's been all one so far. That's not where the pistols are going to do well. You think towards the thrifty round win that we saw through mid from FUT, it was strength in numbers, and unfortunately for FUT there has been no strength at all. Flawless in the end, and that bonus round is going to be more dangerous.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I believe I was telling Porkies, I think it's more like 4 out of 6. I lost my pen. I couldn't be writing them down anymore.
I've lost my pen.
I've lost my pen. Hopefully won't lose me job either.
I don't know, mate.
Hey, Liquid for now though, back on topic, have done a very good job at keeping that last round clean. So the bonus is looking nice, but winning it is a different question entirely, Cairo. If they do, I think that might just be the 3rd VCT team they've managed to overcome.
Could signal signs, problems, omens which FUT do not want to see in the sky. As the bullets fly, not much is connecting. Team Liquid Academy not buying this so far.
And I think this is also a telltale sign of a team which is struggling to play the attack side sometimes when you are so incredibly passive, especially against double controller when they can continue cycling these smokes. Viper toxins in mid as Liquid are really forcing the issue and forcing FUT into the A play.
Yeah, and this is where majority of the players are. The outlaw for 1-0 doesn't even get a chance to shoot off a shot, so the double stack of Mystic and GSR has to hold A all by themselves. Within the smoke they pop out, and Yetaji doesn't even get a chance to snatch at it. The players coming through. Zeus gets a double, and now that site has been taken.
It's well worked from FUT in the end to get out of a bad situation. Looked like Liquid forced them into exactly what it was they wanted. That A-site execution. But 1-0 caught sleeping on the angle. And this Stinger, I was going to say not up to much. Has the upgrade.
Yeah, has the chance now to do something with it. But in the end, it doesn't end up being what was needed. And I think the big thing for me here is that even though Team Liquid did actually lose that round,
Edimex sen kendin gider misin? Ben seni uzaklaştırayım mı?
Sticking a player trying to flank and identifying that Baha was watching so deep.
I'm interested as well to see if this is something that FUT want to go for consistently. If they are going to be this passive and bend the knee to what it is that Liquid are doing when they explore the map. Especially that B pressure and how quickly we saw them revert to the opposite extremity. Prox bringing out the Odin. Fairly common spam to make on the half wall. No reveal to set him up, of course. Crostali noted early. And Baha the one dropping back.
There's a stack of congregated players through mid, and GSR has no TP left, as you can hear by the voice line. So respects that, drops away. And now pressure put on GSR. What can he do? And it's not get a kill, I'll tell you that. The trade does come through indirectly from Prox. Has Odin finding Zeus?
Yeah, Prox in proxy with the suppressing fire. But having GSR inserted in mid would be huge. They've got Mystic instead. This partnership between the captain and his starlet set up. Baha has to be careful.
Baha Astra yakalanacak mı acaba?
Are moving ever closer to this A push again.
But Mystic deposited so deep, he might be the one to change the round. Maybe later in the half.
Here's the steps.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go for the flank. He's going to just have to commit to holding this site. With two players in elbow, can they find anything yet? Trying to work it himself.
Prox caught in headlights right now, didn't know which way to look. Liquid have an insert on the site, but two players to join them from Link.
Yeah, two different fights on two different lanes. Rex finding Baha, but Rex caught out himself by Yetu. Now it's a 2 versus 1, and it's that player mentioned, Yetiji, that needs to show us the goods. The Molly looks like he's lined up, but the crosshair isn't. Double digits, Team Liquid Academy.
Yetüceğin özgüveni düştü birazcık ya. Elbow oynasaydın.
is huge because Prox does not want to have to go head to head with the Odin there either. He's the better player for holding that angle with spam. But in terms of what it is that
Liquid de başlıyoruz aslında. Gerçi trade geldi hızlı ama.
The Odin always going to give you access to that with how rapid the spam can be and the constant threat of a player being lit up by a reveal. But then taking that next step and getting that deep insert that you're talking about. It wasn't GSR. It did end up being Mystic. But it works well all the same.
Hala mola almadı mesela. Bu hakkı var değil mi? Almamıştı zaten.
The rest on Sheriffs. I think there's one classic to mix up. But it looks already, look at this, Team Liquid Academy want to fight, and yet 1-0, luckily enough, on his last bullet, gets Baha.
Just about able to wrangle the mechanical ball to his liking. Foot down to 4. But still, focus on Zeus to be the difference maker, and he can't get a single kill. Liquid in such a strong position now with an open road to an 11th round.
Looks like it should have everything it needs. These thrifty rounds have been getting less and less, the wall going up at the right time. And the Spike looking to follow the pack of Team Liquid.
Just having the Viper in play as well has made all the difference. And speaking of Vipers, Yetijay is the player of most concern if you're Liquid, because he has slipped the net here.
Rex did consider though, but
Yoksa bir anda.
So the numbers somewhat
Çok iyi.
and a great shot from Mr. Fallen. And this round thrown into trepidation.
Yeah, look at the players here on Liquid as well. 1-0 caught in the corner. He has to excel and does. Mystic was searching out that final player, but now he knows. Crostali in the courtyard. Taking one to the dome piece early.
Molly going down. Time getting low. That's what Mystic needs to play for here, as he's playing for his teammate to come in and help.
Mind games from Mystic. Prowler just flies past a passenger in the ordeal, as it is Mystic to add the final touches to this round. A settlement of the eco, really. But FUT didn't look like they came in with all too much of a plan there.
And that's going to be...
O mola geldi mi peki?
Guys, FUT, and bringing out a timeout, because overall, as you have said, not much of a plan, not much of a direction. And that's why you're needing your head coach to come in and be like, guys, listen, we need to change things.
Birden fazla vurmasaydı okeydi de. İki çok ekstra oldu.
They're taking a back seat. Liquid sat there with the wheel in their hands, like, oh, where do you want to go? Didn't realize I booked an Uber, but FUT are being sent over site by site and not really enacting their own game plan, I suppose I should say. Cairo, I want to see a little bit more from them. Even if it is literally just setting up Zeus to find an opening kill, maybe we're not seeing it as much as we would want.
I mean, yeah, definitely. They just need somebody, do you know, even if it's just a straight up execute, right? Like, because you think of that last round, and I understand.
Evet evet, savunma biraz daha 8-4 falan bitmeliydi en azından.
But you just have to be as 5 players and work together. Whereas there's this disjointed element. You think towards the first map, right? I understand FUT lost it, but think how they were playing.
Diğer haritalarda Zeus da sürekli top frag oynuyordu. Bu oyunda biraz düştü.
Yeah, it does also then come back to that bigger Zeus conversation of his role in FUT, and are they sometimes a little too reliant on him firepower wise, especially when you consider he had 2 back-to-back MVP maps and now negative by just a kill. The drop off is noticeable, and that's not on him as an individual.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
the system.
They're literally about to see, you're not criticizing Zeus, you're criticizing what this team has found themselves to be, and I thought the best solution for FUT.
Normalde Veyle oynuyor galiba da Veyle oynayamıyordu. Spike'ı görecekler. Lan.
So deep, and not only that, he's found the spike as well.
GSR says
Kötü
hello
oldu.
mate and hello the rest of FUT.
Where's Yetu?
Spike is left behind. Yetu has been given the freedom to roam the A site at his discretion.
Oh, the TP.
And as you say, with the Omen ult in play, FUT now have an opportunity, a rare one.
A'yı almış, ortasında duruyor saydın ama.
And only at a player deficit.
Viper's pick can also go down. I am still scared though of Team Liquid's Academy's ability to retake with that Cosmic Divide and Overdrive.
They're looking for a player left behind. Liquid know that only a couple of those players can rotate so quickly on the FUT side. And there you have it. With Crostali cut out, it's a 3 versus 5 attempt. Pit lineup sent in by Yetu creeps all the way to Link.
That is an issue, is the fake out trying to at least buy something, the spam not working out, so now players are going to have to try and re-clear now. Through elbow is where they go, and GSR even finds Baha.
Not a common smoke here from Mystic either. Gets them back in through the site, so now Liquid can approach this from multiple angles.
There's already a molly being used and an overdrive as well to clear the close corners. Zeus goes,
İlk önünde kaldı ya, hayır ya.
Team Liquid Academy up to map and series point.
It's another situation where it feels like Mystic has had the influence he was
Astra
looking
smoke
for
bozdu, yoksa ayıklayacaktı da smoke çıktı önüne.
Usage of utility in these smokes have been so pivotal in Liquid playing around a number of different things. Be it Zeus's op on the defender's side, or in this situation, getting them into elbow and then clearing out the pit.
GSR being so aggressive, and it's all on himself, right? If he dies, then the whole round gets put into FUT's hands. But he takes ultimates offline, like the Armageddon, for instance. So with that, FUT are fighting for their tournament lives. And it's Team Liquid Academy to go and take down another Tier 1 giant.
Be looking to join fellow challengers team Eternal Fire in the semi-finals. As it seems like that might just be half the makeup of our top 4 in the end. Split between VCT and the rest. Yetu out on A again. I don't know how.
Yetu'yu A'nın içine nasıl gidiyor herhalde? Duvardan mı geçiyorum? Hayda, yine aynısı oldu.
And as easily as that happens, GSR is walking down mid and farming.
Burada ayrı tek atmak istiyorlar.
Yeah, every single time. And now you can see Baha about to be put under pressure. Is everybody trying to get towards A? And this feels like the game plan for Team Liquid Academy. So happy to give up this space. And you think of the last couple of rounds, Hazard, those retakes have been so successful.
Teho ult here from Mr. Fallen could throw a spanner in the works though. It's all they've got to try and deal with. The timing is everything. Tournament life.
Astra ultisi kullanacaklar. 5'i de oradan geliyor.
In the retake where they've struggled.
Well, the Cosmic Divide down and
Bence kötü böldüler saydı ama.
time with the Armageddon, but now the floodgates
Ölme.
open and the players are ready to come back in. 3 players on FUT, look to try and hold on, but they'll hold on for dear life. As look at this, Team Liquid Academy onto the spike and denying FUT every opportunity.
Kötü bölmemişler, iyi bölmüşler.
Team Liquid Academy are the Goliath, and FUT had no chance.
3 VCT teams taken in their wake and Liquid Academy move to the
Anladım o şekil girdiğini de adamlar da girmesini istiyor gibi yani. Her girdiği roundu kazandılar zaten. Çözüm üretmek istemediler. O zaman çıkanlar tek tek like atsın. Like atanlara bakacağım buradan. Ben gideyim özet yapayım bir de bunun üstüne. Sizlere iyi geceler diliyorum.
Yeah, I think equally as much there are concerns there for them.
Yeah, and now you're thinking about what Team Liquid
Kanalımı
Academy
takip
have
etmek
done
isterseniz orada da arada yayın açıyorum, oyun oynuyoruz. Beraber de oynarız vakit olursa.
A champs team in Giant X, right? 3 for 3 now. That is Navi, Navi, BBL, which are our top tier 2 teams that just got promoted, and now FUT. Giant X on the horizon and a potential tier 1 team in the grand final. It's a pretty good collection that they've got growing.
Yeah, it is a spicy top 4 that we end up with, but thankfully that is all of the games done for today. We do still have a desk to throw it over to though to break down what it is we've seen and set up tomorrow.